Hello. Whoops, I lost StreamYard. What did you do, AJ?
What do you mean?
No,
What
that the logo was that big. It looked really, really bad.
I worked with what I had.
Well, you didn't ask me for one. I would have sent you something. But anyway, I am Jamie, and welcome to SciFi Vision presents Fandom Access. Sorry, I was a little bit surprised there. Today's April 22nd, and we got a pretty big show for you today. We have Doctor Who, and then the Wheel of Time finale, and then Surreal Estate, and then Daredevil Born Again. But if you haven't, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like the video, and make sure that you join our Discord so that you can find schedules for all this stuff, and also to join our watch parties. We have on obviously this show on Tuesdays, but then on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have our Last of Us review, and at 11 o'clock on Thursdays, we have Towards Zero, and soon will be other things once Towards Zero is done. And then we have a watch party Sunday night when I'm thinking it's Thursday, Sunday night when Last of Us drops at 9 p.m. Eastern. And that's all on that Discord. So please do that. Make sure you join, and make sure you check out our other stuff that is on YouTube. All right. Well, hi, guys.
Good evening.
I tried to fix
Karen's muted.
Yeah, Karen's still muted. Oh, well. Well, let me ask you then, AJ, why we're waiting, because I know Karen did not agree with a lot of what I thought on this Doctor Who episode. Excuse me. What did you think of the episode?
I had a lot of feelings about this episode. I really, I've come into Doctor Who late. I've been watching the classics. Last season was my first time discussing Doctor Who with you guys. I really, and I love Shooty. I really want to like it, but they're making it kind of hard. I'll tell you one thing I am not on board with. Last season, it was kind of fun with Miss Flood. It was here and there. She was showing up all the time, but she broke the fourth wall like twice. Now she's breaking the fourth wall every episode. Which actually, I want to bring this up right now. Miss Flood says this limited run ends May 24th, which doesn't make sense. That means they're dropping 2 episodes?
No. She's saying the end of the Doctor and stuff is May 24th, because that's the date he can't get past. That has nothing to do with the show. That's like in show, because that's the date that he went with Belinda. Remember how he can't get past
was it?
date?
Because, that's interesting, because the next to last episode of the season is on May 24th.
Well, they probably scheduled it to air that way to make you think that, but
that's why
she's talking in show. I don't know. See, I like this episode even better than the first one, and I think overall, I thought it seemed like the internet had a positive outlook on it. I guess you guys didn't like as much as I did. I mean, there are pieces of it that are a little silly, but I didn't mind that. I thought it was a fun episode. It had so many freaking Easter eggs. You could go on for a long time about it. And okay, I didn't love the fact that necessarily that he was a god. But at the same time, I kind of like the continuity, because they're bringing back, something we've seen before, and that they're trying to connect them. I also like the reveal of the whole giggle. I thought was pretty cool. But did it have to be a god? No. But I mean, other than maybe that part of it, I liked the episode. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny and fun. But I don't know where.
I mean, it's fun, and so I liked. I thought it was fun when they went into the movie, and they meet the Whovians, and I love the fact that everybody's like, "What's your favorite episode?" They're all like, "Blink." He's like, "Not this not when I did this." They're like, "No, Blink," which is funny because Blink is a very popular episode. It's the first one that introduced the Weeping Angels.
It's one of the all-time great episodes of New Who, of the modern Who,
which is really ironic, considering the fact that the Doctor and the companion and who was it? It was what's her face?
Carrie Mulligan. The Doctor's barely in Blink.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, it was Martha, wasn't it? It was the Dr. Martha?
No, she's right. It was Carrie Mulligan. That was like a one-off episode in between.
The doctor
Yes, I
is
think
like
it was during Martha's time. To answer that, what you're saying, I think it was during her run.
I thought it was Martha though. But ananyway, it's all
No,
right.
it was
Regardless,
no, Carrie Mulligan is the guest star. She's
well, yeah, I know. But the doctor is with Martha, and they're stuck in the past because
no,
of
the doc. Yeah,
because of the weeping. That's what I'm saying. Like the doctor and his companion are in like 5 minutes total of the episode, if that. So it's just ironic that that's what a very popular episode.
Although also
but,
one of his favorites too, Judy.
Yeah.
So it makes it funny.
Overall, though, it's just I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to rely on here. I said this last week. I missed them. I mean, yeah, technically it's a Monster of the Week episode, but they brought back another character from the pantheon of Discord. I just feel like almost like I mean, I don't think anybody's just jumping in season 2 or 15, whatever you want to call this, of Doctor Who. So anybody that's watching it watched last season, and they realize it's carrying over, but I don't know. It's just like it doesn't feel like Doctor Who yet.
I don't know. I kind of, like I said, I kind of like that they carried something over. I just maybe wish they had picked something else to carry over, I guess would be a better way to say it. Like I enjoyed the continuity, and I liked the whole, like I said, the reveal, like, why shouldn't we make you laugh? And then he's like, because it sounds like this, and it's the giggle, and it's like, oh, okay. So I thought that was cool. I don't know that I wanted him to be a god. And I think that idea, like I said, was a little silly, but other than that, I don't know. I just thought the episode was a lot of fun. It was one of the like really wacky ones, but a lot of times Doctor Who's like that. I don't know. And I thought the Easter eggs made it all worth it. Like that scene is like the best, that whole scene, I think. Because there are so many, because I don't know if you guys, I went through, I was going to do I haven't done it yet. I was hoping to do a breakdown on the different Easter eggs. But I mean, obviously you can see the way they're dressed in their mugs and stuff. But even if you look at the background, like the posters on the wall, the bookshelf, like there's all kinds of shit there. Like there's like a Raxa, how do you say it? Raxa, I don't even remember how to say it. The Raxa alien. And like even that frontline poster there on the wall, like there's all kinds of things to go into. Which
that was great.
A lot of fun.
Look, that was great. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. That's not story. That's not like I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed seeing those Whovians geeking out. I enjoyed all those little affectionate waves to the Whoniverse,
Yeah,
the fandom. But that's not story. I mean, it is. It was part of the story. Personally, guys know that I just do not like the Toymaker storyline with the pantheon of the gods. I just don't like my. I like my Doctor Who going around the universe and meeting aliens. Not to take anything away from. Look, I liked Neil Patrick Harris as the Toymaker. I thought Alan Cumming did an incredible job as Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Is that his name? I thought the voice performance was amazing. He did incredible work. Alan Cumming was great in that role. Him being the god of light. I didn't love the Doctor and Belinda being sucked into a cartoon, because I personally am just not down with this storyline is about gods and about magic. I don't know why I can tolerate like entire other shows that are totally about magic, but in Doctor Who, I'm like, magic should not be in Doctor Who. I know I'm a giant pain in the ass and I should lighten up. But for me, it was not my favorite.
Hey, your opinion is your opinion. I don't, and I mean, as you can hear, I'm not. I don't know. It feels off. Like it's not there.
And that's why I said I like the idea that they did like something that was continuing from the other part of the story. I just wish that maybe they had picked a different part of the story to be the continuity, like something other than the gods. Like maybe he was an alien to do with something else we've seen before. Does that make sense? Like I like that they connected it. I just don't like what they chose as the connection. If that makes sense.
No, I don't really get what you're talking about. You don't like that?
I like that they used continuity in the show. I like that they took
What do you
something
mean?
from season one.
You
That
mean you like that there's an ongoing story arc?
Yes, I like that they pulled a character from the giggle or from last season, whatever you want to call it. I like that they pulled an element from that. I just wish that they had pulled a different element from a different episode.
Like a Zygon or a Cyberman or something?
Yeah, well, Cyberman's kind of all the time. But yeah, but I mean, like maybe there's, you know, a one-off episode or something they had. I'm just saying, like, I like that they connected. I like the through line. I just wish they had gone with something different as the through line.
I guess, you know, as far as being another member of the Pantheon, I think it's too soon maybe, because the Pantheon has been sprinkled throughout 60 years of Doctor Who. It's never been a consistent thing, you know? I mean,
yeah,
we had a little, you know, I mean, obviously we got it in the giggle, but prior to that, I think it was like I want to say, if I remember correctly, I read something about it recently. I think the 9th Doctor was the last one, you know, and now it's just like nothing but ever since the giggle.
That's fair. I don't know. See, I like the toy maker and everything, but I didn't love the because I know you didn't like the toy maker. I did like the toy maker, but I didn't like this. Hold on, I got a picture. This
I love the toy maker. Sutek.
I could have done without that. And look, the Maestro was okay. I don't know, it was my favorite, but like out of the three, I like Neil Patrick Harris. So like that's what I'm saying. Like there was too much of that. Like I wish they would have latched on to a different story, I guess. But
I don't know why it needs to latch on to anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I like that they pulled something from before. I just think that they could have pulled something that was better, that was from a different season. It didn't even have to be recent. It could have been something from the 10th Doctor or something.
Right.
Or the 11th
Doctor. I personally thought that, you know, once we were done with the Sutek storyline, that was the end of it for now. And then this season seems to be like we haven't advanced.
That's fair.
I mean, so the Doctor always has recurring villain, right? Like over the years, the Doctor has had recurring villains.
Yes.
This is not really a recurring villain. This is like a collection of gods that these are all new to us, right? I mean, it's a little bit like in Wheel of Time, like getting a new Forsaken every now and then, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we do see I don't know. For me, I don't know why I'm like have this thing about gods, because look, on any planet, a person with certain kinds of powers or position, even not powers, could be seen as a god. Like the Time Lords could be seen as gods by certain kinds of other civilizations, right? Or any kind of alien that came to Earth would be seen as a god. Like there are people who believe, like the Aztecs, like the aliens came and visited them, and their whole like way of thinking, right? So I don't know why I'm stuck on this. That I guess because they're playing them really as gods with a level of power that
you don't like when they give, I think, a villain too much power to begin
with. Yes,
you
I never do, right? On any show.
Yeah,
I hate an overpowered villain, and like
you do that on every show, though, not just this. So people know like, you always hate that. To be fair,
I always hate I hate an overpowered villain. But and to be fair, Doctor Who is often outgunned, but the Doctor's greatest weapon is his mind, and he always outthinks the situation. Right? Yeah, that's the Doctor's greatest gift.
Yeah. So let me ask you, aside from the whole God part of it, did you like the way that they did, like using them going into a cartoon, and that it was like this, you know, cartoon creature from the moonlight, like that part of the storyline? Because that's what I'm saying. I enjoyed that part. I thought it was funny, and I think the way they blended the animation with the live action, I was kind of worried how they were going to do that. But I think it worked. It was a little silly at times, like them trying to break out of the frame. But at the same time, to me, it was kind of like a fun silly. If you kind of leave out the Pantheon stuff.
I mean, it was better than the Maestro. Remember the Maestro when they had those ridiculous musical notes on the screen, and I was like losing my mind about how much I hated that episode. So, like, this is better. Like, if we're gonna have this kind of like using an art form or using culture to defeat some of these gods, I prefer, the other double whammy for me is, you guys know, animation is not my famous form of visual media either. I don't really watch animated movies or cartoons. I especially hate most like Archer and all that stuff, right? So animation is going to be a hard sell for me anyway. I mean, if they had it in a dream sequence, I would have smashed my television watching this. I mean, I agree, it was a little silly getting sucked into the film strip, the whatever it's called, a movie, and it defies a little bit of but we've seen the Doctor trapped in other kinds of bizarro environments, right? So I mean, being made two-dimensional was a little but okay, so actually the main thing I objected to, I think a thing that they were doing was like when the Doctor and Belinda are trapped in the cells of the movie film, and they find that by sharing, they're two-dimensional, but by sharing their deepest like feelings and fears and thoughts or whatever, they become more three-dimensional and they're able to bust out a little, right? And like I kind of get what they were doing there. I think I texted
like
you
that they had more depth. It was a little lame, but it was funny.
They literally had more depth. Yeah. It was a pun that worked. I mean, I do think generally the dialogue worked way better in this episode than it did last week. As much as I did kind of enjoy last week. I think I texted you guys one of the things that I was really I told you last week I was really looking forward to seeing a season of a reluctant companion who really didn't want to be along for this ride and was kind of stuck with the Doctor. And I'm afraid they might have rushed their development through this episode. There's a point late in the episode where the Doctor's like, "Do you trust me?" And Belinda's like, and he's like, "Do you trust me?" She's like, "Oh yes, I trust you 100%. I totally trust you." And like by the end of the episode, I think I was a little worried that by the episode, is she 100% converted now? Is she going to be like I hope they're not going to. I hope they're home. I hope they're not going to rush that too much. I really was looking forward to. It would be a real twist to have a reluctant companion. We haven't seen that in a while, in recent memory at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it was too soon. But I will say this though, that's actually something that's like a Doctor thing though. Like there's numerous times where and usually a lot of times early on in their tenure, the Doctor will say to his companion, like he'll do that type of thing where he reaches out and he's like, "Do you trust me?" And they like think about it for a minute and they're like, and it's like they don't even have a reason, but they say yes. But with her, I feel like it was too soon because of how they started out.
Yeah.
I feel like it should have been further down the road for her to trust him.
Just because she trusts him doesn't necessarily mean she still wants to fly around the universe with him. At least that's what I'm guessing, and I don't know.
Right, but she's known the Doctor for all of 2 days.
Last week she said you're dangerous, you get people killed, and this week she's like, "I totally trust you."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm hoping
I'm just saying it's too soon.
I trust you, but I want to leave. I hope it doesn't completely disappear. I agree with you.
Like I said, it's a Doctor thing where people kind of trust him for no reason. But and given the way they started, I wish she had been a little more hesitant.
Well, to be fair, how many episodes are we getting this year?
8, 10.
So we might be 20 to 25% through the season already. So I get it that maybe they don't want to drag it too much. People would be like, most of the fan base might be like, "Come on, we need a better relationship with," like, just because I and AJ want to see more of that.
8 episodes, yeah.
Reluctance. I mean, we're now 25% through, so maybe I get that.
It's
again,
like I've always said before, when somebody's grieving in a show, like as much as in real life you would still be grieving, if they spend the whole season grieving, it's going to be too sad. So sometimes you're kind of disbelief. But I agree. I'm hoping that she's going to be like, I trust you, but I still want to go home. At least that's my hope.
So I actually, speaking of things like that, I read recently, because I've actually been curious on what the people think about this episode. So I've read a bunch of stuff about it, and one thing people have been complaining about since last season is Shudi's doctor cries.
Oh my god!
And
all the time, I was complaining about that. He's a crybaby.
Okay, people, and Karen have been complaining about that.
Yeah,
so
I know. It doesn't bother me that he's
hold on a second, Jamie. Hold on a second.
No,
so I just happened to come across this one thing where the question was actually posed to RTD, and he said that is not something we wrote. That is all Shooty. He's like, every doctor has brought something new to the doctor themselves, that it either just happened organically or they thought this would be kind of cool. With Shooty, while filming, sometimes he just gets emotional and they run with it. So that is a Shooty thing that he has brought to the essence of this doctor.
Yeah.
I think too, I had always, and I don't know, I remember reading this somewhere. I think I'm trying to remember where, it was a while ago, but I remember what they sort of said at the beginning. And if maybe then this wasn't intentional, but at least this must have been somebody's theory then, because I thought somebody had said it, but they had suggested that, like, since he's bi-generated and split off from the 10th doctor, well, he's not the 10th doctor, whatever you want to call him, the 14th doctor, that the 14th doctor was like the fun, crazy side. So it kind of was the opposite, like that was left when he bi-generated.
I said that.
You said that. Somebody said it. I know somebody said it. I like that idea. Whoever said it.
That this is the sensitive side came out in this part of
that part of him.
Yeah, I said that during I actually said it during Space Babies, because when he was like running from the bogeyman, and I was like, I think the doctor never runs. The doctor's always running towards the danger, not away from it. And then I that's when I came up with the idea. I was like, maybe it's because he was bi-generated that, he has certain traits and Tennant has certain traits, and they're, not a complete doctor how they used to be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then you're smart. It's you that said it.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's their intent, I don't.
It makes sense though. But let me ask. That was the other thing I wanted to ask you guys about. What did you think about? I'm trying to find the pictures. I'm talking to you.
Wait! Don't move! Before you move, can I just say?
No, go ahead.
How much the hair and the costumes are amazing in this episode, right?
I knew Karen was going to mention that.
I don't know how they kept Belinda's hair like that. That was the wig,
probably
right?
A wig, I'm guessing.
But she's running around and moving around, and it really stayed. And she's got this. It's like a quintessential 50s dress that we've seen that style all the time, but it looks so good on her.
It does.
And I love Doctor Who's little suit there. Love that. Sorry, Jamie, to interrupt, but I don't know if you're going to show it again. So I just wanted to mention it now.
Yeah, that's a good close-up of it. Yeah, I agree. I love the costumes in this. But no, I was going to ask you about what you guys thought about the regeneration energy. I wasn't sure how to feel about this, because part of me was like, really? He already generated, but then the other part of me was thinking about the 10th doctor when he had his arm lopped off and it grew back because he had extra regeneration energy left. So it kind of made sense. Like it was almost like a throwback to that a little bit. So I, in the end, was like, okay, I can be okay with that. But more so than even him just regenerating his healing, I liked how they took the idea that he wanted that energy from the doctor, and like that was what was going to, I mean, obviously in the end they used the sunlight, but that at first it was this light force he was sort of sucking out of him. Although why the hell it made him look like it did, I don't quite get, because first he turned 3D, then he turned back, then he turned to this crazy ass thing, which is so gonna give me nightmares. I don't know why they did that, why they made him look like that. He looks like a bug guy. And then he turned 2D again. I'm not sure about that weird creature design, but anyway, I did like how he sort of was sucking the life force out of him, literally with the.
I'm of two minds about that. If you go back, like the shot you showed in the beginning where the doctor's just healing himself, his own injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, the Doctor healing himself is not a constant thing in Doctor Who, right? And
Yeah.
I think if it becomes established that the Doctor can always heal himself, does that lower the stakes anytime he's in a dangerous situation? Can the Doctor
Well,
not be
he
killed?
said he had a little bit of that bi-generation energy left, so I assume this is like a one-time thing. I'm hoping.
I hope so, because I don't
Yeah, I agree with you.
want to see that as a regular thing.
As I
I hate
always say, it's like Superman spinning the Earth backwards. You can't keep doing it. Or, you
I
know,
hate
you
an
can only do it
overpowered
once.
Man
villain.
couldn't do that at all.
I hate an invulnerable hero also, right? Like he can't be invulnerable.
I did also like how they used. I just am looking at the pictures. How they used the film to like. I thought that was really cool.
It reminded me of Harry Potter when
yeah.
when Voldemort sends out those black things to grab Harry. I did think there's no way film could be strong enough to drag him like that,
Oh,
but
of
it's
course
it's
not.
magic film, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on the healing. They've always kind of played fast and loose with. I mean, it's Doctor Who. Doctor Who plays fast and loose with a lot of stuff. They kind of use stuff when they need it, and then forget about it at other times because they don't want to make him able to heal himself whenever. It's not the first time we've seen the Doctor heal himself in some way, shape, or form over the years, but it's never a constant. So I was okay with that. I thought that was kind of neat that that was Lux's whole thing was taking the Doctor's regeneration energy.
Well, he wanted light. It's because it was light, right? He wanted to absorb light.
And we're not going to see any type of regeneration again until the end of Shudi's run.
Oh, by the way, look at Doctor Who's awesome shoes throughout this episode also. I love those shoes. And I have a pair like that, but mine are black with white.
Yeah, like leather saddle shoes. Yeah.
I love those shoes.
Saddle shoes are awesome.
Jamie, could you go back like 2 shots to that animation of Mr. Ring-a-Ding?
Yeah, I'm not in order though. So you saying 2 shots, I gotta find it. Hold on.
Oh, yes. So, I said to you guys that as you guys know, I'm not the hugest fan of animation as an art form, but I thought the animation was really good in this episode. I like the way they made him look. If you've ever seen old timey cartoons, like, how like the original Mickey Mouse has those long skinny arms and legs.
Have compared actually those shots to Mickey Mouse. It seems like they were inspired by the one Mickey Mouse cartoon when they, at least from what I've seen, there's like some shots that people compared the way they drew him and stuff.
I mean, I think it's kind of an overall style of the time, maybe. Like
it might be, I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of animation. I mean, if you look at old cartoons, maybe I see something like that. But I also look how well it's done. Like he has stepped out of the frame and he's on the stage, and we've got a mix here. But the way the shadow is behind him, like they just did such a good job of making this 2-dimensional animated part really, for me, pop. As though, I mean, I can be like, oh, cartoon coming to life. Do I like that? Do I not like that? I don't know, but they did a great, look at that, right? They did a great job. The animation house, who I should look up their name and give them credit, really did a nice job here, I thought.
And I feel like even though it was a cartoon character, they did and I think it's also partially Alan Cumming, did a good job of like making him be a villain, even though he's a cartoon character, like he felt real. Yeah. So yeah, it had some things that weren't the best, but I think it had some good things too.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite part when Belinda mentioned them being the Scooby-Doo gang, and he's like, "Honey, I'm Velma."
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's like,
yeah, I think it was right there. Actually, that clip right there.
Theater, we gotta go in. Yeah. I know what I was gonna say because I meant to mention it. I'm surprised Karen didn't, because usually we talk about this. I really liked how they tied in and made it feel real of how they would be treated, or tried to make it feel real of how they would be treated back then. I mean, I don't know. They probably would have talked less to them. So I don't know how it wasn't 100% realistic, but I like that they tried to, bring in segregation and sort of put, because we talked before about like with the 13th Doctor, how she got treated as being a woman. So I like kind of how they brought in with them being of color, how they tried to
actually,
like I said, I don't know they did it perfectly, but I like that they at least put some of that in there and tried.
I mean, this is well-worn territory for Doctor Who. Yeah. Doctor Who has many times gone back to a period of segregation, right? I think the 13th Doctor, when they met Rosa Parks, that episode did it.
Oh, that was awesome episode.
That was incredible. They did a really good job there. I mean, I thought they skimmed over it a bit. This episode was jam-packed and they couldn't get into everything. And this was not like a very special racism episode. I get that. Yeah. But it was a little, and I actually, there was a point where the Doctor says to Belinda, like, oh, you can't be in here. You're, I forget the line exactly, but the implication that like she's a person of color, but that the Doctor wasn't. Not that he's not, but I think people don't see because he's the Doctor. People maybe don't see.
He has that proximity.
Yeah, he says something like, are you talking about the toppled world? He says, I've toppled world. Sometimes I wait for people to topple the world. Until then, I live in it and I shine. I did like that line.
Yeah, I didn't love that line because, okay, so I'm a white person and have never had to live with that kind of discrimination, but I took it like I wait and I shine, live with and I shine. I took it to be like, oh, like the way that people of color have had to like choke it down and just do better and excel to even get halfway to where I can get, right? I took it to be a little bit like, but
it's interesting.
I think that here's the thing. The Doctor, the whole thing of Doctor Who is that he can't change time. He can't change like certain things. And the Doctor can't really like racism and Jim Crow and segregation in the United States is a historical fact that Doctor Who can't kind of change in their stories. And within universe, Doctor Who can't like undo that kind of stuff because so many aspects of the civil rights era are fixed points in time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I took it a little bit lighter than you took it though. I just took it like he was kind of saying, sometimes I'm on the top and, people love me and other times they don't, but I'm who I am no matter what. And like, cause he's like, I shine, but like, I don't know. That's how I took it, is he was more just saying like, whether I'm on the bottom or the top, I'm still me. And
I think I told you guys in the same day I watched The Wheel of Time, The Last of Us, Andor, Doctor Who. Like I watched like 5 shows where
that had to be depressing after all.
Like evil triumphs. So by the time I got down to Doctor Who, I was like, oh yeah, that's racism, right? Like I think I watched a lot of really negative storytelling. Daredevil, right? Like all of it was brutal to watch all of that one day. And so I maybe didn't bring my best optimistic Doctor Who mindset to this episode.
That's fair. But out of all of those shows, I think it was probably the lightest one.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things I did also like. I really liked that they were showing a Rock Hudson movie and Belinda says, oh, he died of HIV. I learned about him in my nursing class. I felt a little old because I'm old enough to remember when he died. And he was like the first celebrity, at least in the United States, who, openly, it was nice to, because I think they put that in there. I really like that. Some people think that Doctor Who sometimes is a little too messagey. And I'm not saying I think that, but this was just a very nice statement of fact and not like, right?
It wasn't
like,
preachy.
Yeah, it wasn't telling you how to think. It was like, this really happened. And let's remember who Rock Hudson was. And like, I like that. It was a piece of dialogue that was in and out and you heard it and you remembered it. And I thought I liked the way they did that. That was the thing that I don't know, wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We should probably move on.
I was going to say the only other thing I was going to say, I do have another quote highlighted. I just want to
mention. Yeah, go ahead.
I did love when Al Cumming Lux, he says, I'm a 2-dimensional character. You can't expect backstory.
Oh yeah.
Like, a lot of you two complaining they didn't explain anything, and I'm like, yeah, he's a cartoon. It works.
Yeah. Quickly, Jamie, before we jump, Mrs. What's her name? The next door neighbor. What's her name again?
Mrs.
Flood.
Mrs. Flood. She turns up in 1952. Is this the first time we've seen her back in time with Doctor? Like
as Mrs. Flood, yes, because all last season she kept showing up as different characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Now
think they
she's
were all in the
Mrs. Good.
present. I think that it's going to turn out, and I think if it does, you guys probably aren't going to like it. But I have a feeling that they're leading up to maybe saying she's an important god, because because of the way they did this episode, it makes me think that that's what's coming. I don't know, but
I was wondering. I was thinking she's maybe somehow tied to the TARDIS, or she is a TARDIS, or she has a TARDIS. Like can she go anywhere the TARDIS goes?
Interesting.
I don't know.
I really hope by episode 8 it pays off. Because honestly, I'm a little tired of her.
Really? See, I know that people theorize different things. I told you guys before that a lot of people said a lot of times she's dressed like the different companions, and that they think it has something to do with the companions. But I don't know. I thought after this episode,
hopefully it pays off. And it's here for the entirety of the season. So
I hear you, AJ. There are sometimes puzzle box shows that have a little side mystery that is a distraction and not really relevant, and you get no answer or a lame answer by the end of it, right? And I hope she's not just a recurring joke, or if she is, could we just clear that up and move on from it and not have a I hear you, AJ. I think we'd all like to know what the thing is with her and have it not just be a little wink kind of thing that they're throwing in there.
Yeah.
They're probably not. I don't know that these writers are those people that would do that, right?
I think there's supposed to be something going on from what's
no, there's definitely something going on with her.
But I was going to say, if you do go by the whole companion thing, that's kind of the theory floating around, that does kind of remind me of Clara's diner. The wrong color, but kind of reminds me of the style of her 50s.
Yeah, but that's because diners are 50s.
Yeah, no, I know.
All right.
So the only other thing I was just going to say, I don't know if we don't got to go into everything, but there were, like I said, there were so many different Easter eggs in here, from the shelves to the walls and everything. So people should go back and look at it all if you haven't, because there's even like posters on the wall.
I don't think you mean anything. I think it was just an affectionate shout out to the fandom and a cute thing to do. And I don't think any of those are like a clue, right?
Oh no, I don't think they're a clue, but I think it's really cool that you can find so many references. Like I said, like that's from Dot and what's it called? Dot and Button. I can't even remember what the hell that's called now from last season. Bubble and Dot. Bubble and Dot. Yeah. And it looks like the other poster on the other side of the wall is like a poster of him and Ruby, maybe, but it's hard to tell. Like I said, there's a little on the wall shelf. I just think it's cool. I definitely don't think it has meaning. I just think it's neat that they put so
it's
many
cool.
in.
I mean, and I think that's fun for like a second and third watch. I think what was important here, it was a really affectionate kind of a shout out to the fandom, and it was kind of sad when they're like, we don't have last names, we don't matter, we're not real. And then they all had last names in the credits.
They do, and that's why
they survived. And they survived the everything going poof because they
like the little,
were in the post credit.
After credit, post credit scene was cute.
So,
but okay, moving on. So the Wheel of
Time. Holy shit!
Now I did not get a chance to capture Wheel of Time, but I got a lot that are from the press photos. There was quite a few from this episode, so hopefully we'll be
I don't even know where to start. Holy crap! I mean, I guess start at the beginning with the flashback from 10 years ago, when Eladia thought she had it locked down to be the new mother, and the whites double crossed her, and everybody voted for Sue-Ann.
Yeah, she was not a happy camper.
I thought that was a nice, quick little, hey, so this is what happened. This is why there's animosity. This is what went down. I thought that was really a nice, quick little.
Yeah, I think it really explained everything she has said and done since she joined the show, right? In episode 2 or whatever of this season. Yeah. And you really, really see how like, does she really? You really see how she's angry and wants power, and she's been planning her revenge for like 30 years, 100 years. I don't know. They don't age, right?
It said it was 10 years. It said it was 10 years ago that happened.
And she's been angry, and she really just thinks that she was cheated, and she's getting that seat back, right? But the flashback was pretty. That was a good flashback. A lot of flashbacks are dumb. That flashback paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially considering what happened later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there were times maybe in the beginning of this episode that I felt like, oh my God, last week's episode was so epic. Is this going to pay off? Is this going to equal it? Is this going to, be a letdown? We've watched a lot of shows, again, going to Game of Thrones, which always had its second to last episode, was great. A lot of Walking Dead had a major death in the second to last episode. And there were, in the beginning, I was like, oh, is this gonna, and then by the end of it, I was like, holy crap, this episode is awesome also, right? Yeah. There was a lot of action. There were some really shocking moments where I thought somebody might be dead, and then they weren't, and then they were. And then Nynaeve, right? Like I texted you guys, Nynaeve is so useless. And then you probably
I know. I was thinking that when this happened, I'm like, well, they're not going to kill her. But then I'm like, well, that must be Karen must mean because she, Leandrin took the stuff away
was
from her.
funny.
And then I'm like, oh, Karen was wrong. After
if I had waited 95 seconds, right? I would have had a different
definitely was.
Well, it was funny when Nynaeve found the collar. I was like, oh, that was nice of her to find the collar for Leandrin, because I knew where it was going to go. I knew Leandrin was going to take it from her.
Yeah, we kind of figured that.
But I'm sorry. Almost dying shouldn't have taken that for her to finally snap out of it and use her fucking powers. I don't know.
She can control them now. That's my other question, because I think it does, but it wasn't 100% clear, because all we saw was her save herself, and then we didn't see her use them again.
Well, I mean, she parted the seas, and then she put it back together. Then she put it back together, willingly, And now, let me ask you guys a question: was it supposed to play like this, or do you think it was just the way they shot it? But was it just me, or was she breathing underwater? Because she was down there for a minute.
For a little bit, but I don't know whether she was supposed to be or not. But it seems.
I think we were supposed to think she was dead. I think she was at the last minutes of being about to die, and I did want to ask you guys how you feel about when she's at her last moment of death. She thinks about her daughter. That I get, but that she relives her advice to her daughter, her fake daughter, and that's what brings her back. I mean, I guess they were paying off all that daughter stuff that we've been seeing for the season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which supposedly what put her into this funk to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, that's when she comes out of the gates is when she can't use magic anymore, right? Because she's so depressed about her daughter. I'm not really sure. I get why the threat to her life finally unbound her. I'm not sure I really got that moment of remembrance of the dog of that. I'm not sure. To me, that really.
I can simplify it.
Yeah.
Thank God it's over. How about that?
I did feel a little gypped that it all happens just after Leandrin gets away, and that Nynaeve comes out of the water supremely powerful, and she doesn't chase after Leandrin. We get her on a boat going home or whatever with her friends, right? I'm like, wait, so Leandrin just got away with all the jewelry, and you're like, I don't even know where they're going on that boat at the end of the day. Where are they going?
Home.
Why?
I agree with you. I kind of wondered.
I mean, Leandrin's, but by the time she gets out of there, Leandrin's already had time to get away.
I guess.
You know, they don't know where she's they don't know where she's going next now that she has what she's looking for. I mean, I guess next Leandrin's going to try and find the dragon, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she figured she could head her off since she couldn't stop her.
I mean, now that, you know, I mean, think about it. Now, I mean, their only choice is to go home, go join up with Rand and try and protect him. Maybe, I don't know.
I guess. I understand that you follow the books. I just felt like you're the most powerful channeler in 1,000 years. You are actually more powerful than Leandrin. You've just been like sort of unleashed. And do you even like, I mean, Leandrin's only like, it's only been like 2 minutes that she walked away down the street. You don't even try to find her. I don't know. I guess I get
what you're saying.
I guess I was so like amped up from that scene that I was like, yeah, let's go get that bitch. And then it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty, I think we're all glad to see Nynaeve finally come back into her power, right? This like Nynaeve,
like I said, thank God it's over.
Right? Yeah. She's useless. She's afraid. She's whatever, has been played out long enough. It's nice to see her. And the parting of the Red Sea was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Too bad nobody was around to see it. It's like there were no bystanders. There was nobody.
That's funny.
It was a deserted street when she like parted the ocean or the harbor or whatever. But I'm glad they had a photo of it, Jamie. I mean, they sometimes do only have a couple photos, and they do have a big set piece like that.
Yeah. I'm tapping a couple as you guys are talking, so we have some more for the rest of the episode. I'm sorry.
I haven't read the books. None of us have read the books. No. I feel like maybe they collapsed this search for the bracelets and the collars, because it did seem the last couple episodes I've been like, oh, you show up at Tanchico and there's just like magical, important, powerful jewelry lying around everywhere. They found all of it within like 5 minutes of looking for it, right? And I don't know, but I suspect maybe that might have taken longer in the book and they had to condense that.
Well, the one thing I've noticed with this show is we don't know how much time has passed.
Yeah, we've talked.
It's been a few years, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a couple of years, but they've never really locked down a specific time frame. So for all we know, they've been there for like 3 months. We don't, and I mean, in 2 months, 3 months, we don't even know how long it's been.
Yeah, it just seems fast because we have 9 episodes, right. And they're just like every time we turn around, here's a magical collar.
Yeah, I wished every once in a while there'd just be a line of dialogue. Just, a quick throwaway piece of dialogue, be like, Matt, last week, Yeah.
We've been in Tanchico for 6 months. What a drag kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, if we're going to just take this Tanchico part of the episode,
Matt.
There was Matt, and then there was like the old neighbor guy they went into last week, Tom. Yeah. Like that pays off big, also, right?
And this Tom and Elaine, yeah.
And the weird smelly cat guy, whatever the hell he is. I'm not sure I understood all of that. How did you go? Please.
He's like I mean, I don't know where he got pulled into in that shimmer, but Eaglefin, that was his character's name.
Eaglefin.
Eaglefin. Eaglefin. Oh. He asks Matt what he wants, and Matt's of course sarcastic.
Uh-huh.
And it just keeps asking him. He's like, "I can grant anything you want. What do you want?" And everything. And he's like, "I just want to get out of here." And Eaglefin's like, "Ha!" He's like, "You're such an idiot." He's like, you didn't set it. You asked for something without setting a price. Now he's like, "I will grant your wish, but you're gonna pay the price." And Matt's like, "Wait, what's the price?" The guy's like, "Ha ha ha! You'll find out." Which turns out to be Min's vision of him hanging.
The thing is, what I enjoyed out of all of that is that her vision did come true, but he didn't die. Like all she ever saw when the vision was him hanging. She never saw him die.
So her vision came true.
Right. So.
But that's the second time her vision, she interpreted it as, remember she interpreted that Matt was going to kill Rand?
Right.
And in the end, like Matt stabs Rand and Elaine heals him. Like that's the second time. I feel like Min maybe has a tendency or a flaw where she interprets the vision. She's like, I saw you die. No, you saw him hanging. You saw him kill Rand. No, you saw him stab Rand, right? Maybe she will learn not to
interpret
make
and
an
just say what
assumption
you see.
about what
Yeah.
she has seen.
Yeah, just say what you see, not what you think is happening. But actually, Matt says a couple things that he would like. Because after Min saves his life, and I had a problem with that scene a little bit because I felt like she cut him down pretty quick. I didn't think that he had time to go unconscious because he wasn't really hanging there for that long.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, there's no way they choked to death in that amount of time. Like even in real life time.
Well, that's
Like,
what I'm
usually,
saying.
You know, TV,
in a
they
real
exaggerate,
hanging,
but
in a real hanging, you die much quicker. If a hanging is done correctly, when they open that trapdoor below you and you fall, it breaks your neck and you die immediately.
right.
That's
but his neck
right.
wasn't broken, so he shouldn't have suffocated that fast.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Now I interpreted. So AJ, you're going to say he asked for several things. Go ahead. I interrupted you. He asked for several things.
He'd also asked, but it wasn't until he said the thing about just getting out of there. So I was kind of surprised that.
Yeah, he basically said, "I want people to shut the fuck up."
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that the voices were gone, but his memory was fading, and I didn't go back to see. But did he say anything that would have made one of the wishes?
He asks.
He said he didn't want to hear all the voices.
He asks, like one of his wishes is that he wants to be. He says, "You can heal me. You can cure me." Like so Jamie, I interpreted differently when you said the price he paid is that he was hanging. I don't agree. I think the price he paid was the voices going away. I think those voices maybe are valuable to him, and those memories of all the past heroes could be valuable.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Matt's wish to get rid of them. I get it, but if he was more patient, right? But instead he wants them erased. And now the penalty is that they're erased, but I wonder if more of his memory is going to be.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't remember how they got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's lost.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was wondering if he said something.
Two wishes, though, because he said he wanted the voices to go, and he lost the voices and the memory. And then I think when he said, I want to leave, that's when he hung them. Like, I think they were two different consequences for two different wishes. That's how I took it.
I think the price was getting the previous wish. Like, it was never said you get 3 wishes, right?
Yeah.
No, but I think he granted 2 things and gave him 2 problems. That's how I took it anyway. Because he's like, yeah, I'll send you out of here, but and then like he hung.
I took it that his final wish, the price, was the previous wish, and that it's that be careful what you wish for. Like he wished for his memory to go.
Oh yeah,
away.
this cat person, this dude's a djinn through and through.
Yeah,
it's a total monkey's paw situation where the parents wish for the son to come back and they get a corpse, right? Matt wishes for his memories to be gone. Well, guess what? You might have no short-term memory either.
Right.
Yeah.
And now
they focused on the necklace towards the end there too.
That cat thing is wearing a necklace. Yeah.
Yeah. What was up with? I'm trying to see if there's a good picture.
No, Matt had a cat.
Matt had a necklace. Yeah.
Yeah, when they focused in on him at the end there.
What was that supposed to be? That he gave that to him, or that had something?
I don't know. That's what I couldn't figure out.
I was a little confused by that. Yeah.
Like I'm wondering if Matt takes it off. Maybe everything's back to him. Maybe.
Oh, maybe they put that on him.
No, I would assume that. I'm worse with names than you guys ever are. But what the hell's her name? The Aes Sedai that took over. Help me here. The one that took over Emily's seat. I'm looking up her name and I'm like, where's it at?
Aledia? You said the Aes Sedai that took over, Aledia?
Yeah.
Aleda.
I think that she I'm assuming from what they said, unless I misunderstood it, isn't this thing what she made? This is what she made an agreement with to become Amlin's seat, right? At the beginning.
Yeah, she's sort of like, I mean,
she didn't get what she asked for right away, but I assume that's why she's been sick, that was like her payment.
oh, I don't know. That's interesting, Jamie. I did not equate her illness with any of this, or that she could be. I mean, we have seen Aes Sedai heal themselves. Like we saw, what's her name, who got shot with like 100 arrows like 2 weeks ago. Maxim's Aes Sedai. Her name is, come on, you just interviewed them, you guys. Maxim and
we talked to Max, the one who's Maxim,
Alana. Like we saw her be healed multiple times of grievous wounds. And so it's interesting to me now that I think about it that we've not seen Aleda be cured or attempt to cure or wisdom work on her, right? Like if you just have like pneumonia or something, like couldn't they just be like boop, boop, and it's gone?
Maybe, but I don't think she wanted to tell anybody something was wrong.
And yet, why not?
She don't trust anybody because she's evil. I don't know.
She's evil. Yes, because she's evil is the main reason. You're right.
Yeah.
So how obvious was it to you guys when Suan sends some of her Aes Sedai out of the tower, right? They're like, oh, we saw, I forget what the pretext is, but there's a pretext to get them to leave. Like they send some girls out of the tower, right? Some women.
Yeah, there's a bunch of red Aes Sedai that left, and they were like, "What the hell is she planning? Go find out."
And come on, at that moment, we knew there was going to be a vote, right? Like I knew immediately. Oh, they're going to call. She's been calling a vote for the last like 3 weeks. They're definitely going to call the vote and have a majority. I felt. I mean, I saw that coming. I don't know if you guys saw it coming that there'd be a vote.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew it had something to do with it, but which
they wanted her out of the.
The problematic thing about that scene. I mean, I don't know how. Like, I was like, I'm looking around the room, going, "There's not even 11 of them."
Well, there was at one point apparently. Or she
they tricked Suan into sending her closest supporters on a wild goose chase, and then they called the vote while they were outside of the building, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty stupid on Suan's part not to always keep a majority of voters around, right? To not always be sure I have a voting majority in the building.
She didn't have that many she could trust. That's why she sent the ones she could trust out. But yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, it was a trick, to have her closest supporters so she would lose any type of election. I was a little, I talked to you guys about how I watched so much television in one night that was about like the overthrow of power, the underhanded usurping of power, what's going on in my work life and how I feel about this stuff. And this is one of those scenes where I saw so Aleda calls for a secret vote, right? All the voting party, all the people eligible to vote don't know there's going to be a vote. She calls for a secret vote. She does it while Suan is not there. Suan comes in, she's like, oh, by the way, we voted while you weren't here. We voted to depose you. Oh, and by the way, later they say we actually already secretly voted to put you to death. So whatever, shut up. Right? Like it was insane. Like what happened?
Yeah, and that was the thing too that I was like, I'm not sure what the point was other than for her to be like, haha, because first she's like, we're going to steal you or whatever. Like we're going to take all your power, right?
Yeah.
And they do that. And then she's like, a former shell. I have a picture here somewhere of herself. She's like, she's done. She won, right? And yet then she's like, oh yeah, we're going to kill you. Like she couldn't even just let it go at that point. She had to kill her too.
Well,
what was interesting about that? Sorry, go ahead, Karen.
I was going to just say, I think the reason, like, maybe you have to ultimately kill her is so that people don't rally around her. You don't want to have an opposition figure that people can. This is why, evil dictators, this is why Vladimir Putin throws people out of windows and poisons them with Novichok and, cannot allow any opposition character to live because people will rally around them, right? Sorry, but this is. Sorry to interject contemporary politics, but that's not.
You're right. The thing is she let her give her whole speech. She's like took her powers, and then she gives this whole long speech, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're killing you too. Bye."
Yeah. Why don't you kill her before the speech?
So other than for us to feel worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, this entire scene is ridiculous because I mean, it's a total coup based on the fact that this is not, you know, even if she wants to do a vote of no confidence and go through a whole thing, there's nobody's there except for her people. So
yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, there's 11, but there's like 11 out of 11. There's not like,
Well, and like we know. Sorry, Jamie. And we know that Suan has allies, and yet there are no allies to be seen. Do you remember the last time they attacked the Amerlin? Everyone was like shooting fireballs and trying to bust in and all this stuff. And now Suan has nobody. There are 0 people. None of the acolytes, none of the novices, none of the, like, nobody is there, right? Where are they? What's going on? Like, this was a little weird.
They all got sent out to chase the red Aes Sedai.
She has Leanne there, but that's it. Is that her name, Leanne?
Well, you know what the funny thing is?
That was it.
That's a little.
I wouldn't trust the whites because they've double crossed people twice now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They double crossed Eladia this first time, and now they double crossed Suan this time. It's like I'm surprised Eladia trusted her in the first place. She's like, you know, the last time we did this, you turned on me.
Yeah.
But I will say this: the thing I liked about the scene the most was when they were like, you know, at least, you know, when they said to Suan, they said, at least tell the truth, and she's like, you want truth, and she just laid it all out there, and they looked worried, which is why I think they finally. Why, Jamie? Am I echoing from you?
No, I didn't do anything.
You sound good. You sound good.
Okay, I started echoing back to myself.
No, yeah, anyway. You echoed for a couple seconds and then it went away. I don't know.
You know, I think that's why they ultimately were like, oh, by the way, you're supposed to die, because even, you know, the look on all their faces was like, kind of like, oh shit. Especially Eladia, she was like, she had a look of terror on her face, like, holy crap, did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays. I feel like by the time this is all said and done, I don't think the tower's standing.
Oh, I don't think so either. I think that it'll be overthrown.
Or by the time it's all said and done, like the old timers are going to be gone, and it's going to be like Nynaeve and Elaine starting a new order.
I guess. So I mean, Suan's death was really closely tied to the other part of the storyline, which we haven't gotten into yet. Oh my God, look at that. It was crazy. I'm sorry to see her go, actually.
I know.
I mean, I liked the Amerlin. I like Suan. I liked, and I think we really didn't get to know her until these last few episodes. And now we really see what we're getting into with Elaida coming in and being the Amerlin, right? And she's, I mean, we've had a coup. So do you guys think, let me ask you guys a question. So the Aes Sedai have always been taught that they've always been trying to cage all these false dragons. They need to cage, like they have been taught that men should not channel, and that the dragon. I mean, the story seems to be that it is Maureen and Suan who have really taken a different tactic to be like, we should support the dragon, right? Like, I mean, setting aside the part where Elaida is a power-hungry maniac.
There's that.
I mean, do we think that most of the Aes Sedai, like they've always believed that you should try to cage the dragon, right?
I think they all have. She sort of was helping Rand in secret still. I mean, she kind of did. I don't want to say she betrayed them because you're right. She was using a different tactic, but she didn't tell them every time she helped them or helped Moraine or whatever. She was supposed to be in no contact with Moraine and lied about it. So she wasn't completely truthful.
And so for when Elaida says, "Oh, Suan's been supporting the dragon," is that a big is that a big betrayal of the Aes Sedai? Like, is it okay?
I mean, technically speaking, I would say yes, but for thousands of years they've been playing this game, and they never win.
Yeah, and she did what she
thought. They never win.
Right. She wasn't trying to go against them. She was trying to
let's try a different tactic. Why don't we try to make the dragon part of the light? You know?
Yeah. And it does seem to be like a lame excuse, like here near the end, Suana's like, oh, guess what? The old Amerlin had a vision right before she died, and only Moiraine and I were there. And she told us to support the dragon. And so we've been doing this secret. It does seem like a little too late and too convenient to be like, if I'm just a random brown or yellow or blue Aes Sedai, right? Be like, oh, how convenient. There was a vision that you never told us about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I can get why some people
would be against what she's saying. Yeah.
Would not support Suana. I'm not saying I get why you might support Elena because she's obviously crazy. But I could see why they might be suspicious of Suan, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Oh my God, I can't believe. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, over on the other side of the world.
Over on the other side.
Okay, let's go to the other side of the world.
Okay.
So I like the way they start out with Samael getting the answer of whether Samael was killed or not, and he was not killed. He was captured, which in and of itself is pretty impressive because I told you guys last week that I was reading an article and there's 13 Forsaken and we've met like 5. And according to this article that I was reading, Samael is like the number 3, like the third strongest, third or fourth strongest Forsaken. So the fact that they captured the 4th strongest Forsaken is pretty impressive. And then later it's even more impressive when Mohiddin spiders his ass because according to this chart, she is actually the least powerful, like in terms of power. She is the least powerful Forsaken. However, I gotta say she's probably one of the smarter ones. Power isn't everything.
I think
I'm looking for that gross scene, but I just wanted to say something. I want to stop for 1 second because I did not know this, and I won't show this on screen. But now that because I'm freeze framing the show as you're talking and adding captures, do you know she cut Suan's head off? I had not realized that. Okay, because I didn't realize it, but I realized it now because I see a picture of it.
And you know what? That is not the least violent thing we saw on television this week.
It is definitely not. It is most definitely not.
I think you guys that Mohiddin was maybe she was only able to conquer Samael because Moiraine already had him.
Oh
down,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah, I mean he was in a weakened state, right?
Which again is why I say her brain is, power isn't everything when you have a brain like hers.
I think when you are weaker, you have to be smarter, right?
Right.
It did seem at the beginning here, though, you guys, Samael was captured and Moiraine had said, you're going to train Rand, right? Wasn't it the original thing they were telling him was like, train him or we'll kill you, right? And I wasn't sure at that point. I guess he was supposed to train him to channel and to control himself because it does seem that Rand still is unable to, once he gets the channel going, he's like a guy that's like going to take more and more cocaine and you have to stop him from doing the next one. Like, stop, no more lines, you're done. Right?
Yeah, she's like, we're not going to kill you. You're just going to do what we say. Like, I wonder if she would have even been able to force him to do that. I kind of question that she could.
I wonder if that even was real. By the end of the episode, though, I was like, is that even real? Or were they just saying that as a setup for Lanfear and others? Like, did they ever intend that he was going to, or did they intend that? But
I kind of assume they did, and that's like part of why they killed him.
Oh yeah, that was part of Lanfear and Moraine's plan. That's why look, Lanfear even says to Rand in the dream, "Did you like my little gift that I sent you?"
Oh yeah,
Samael's going to train you.
I like that. I remember that. I liked thinking. I didn't realize that, and that was cool. That like that was the whole point to that.
And Lanfear was all in with Rand until Rand was like, "Go away."
She loves him so much that he has to say like one thing to her, and she's like, "Okay, now I'm going to kill you."
Well, it wasn't just that one thing. Like he started to channel. He started to channel against her, and then, what's her face there?
Nynaeve.
No, not Nynaeve.
No.
Egwene pops in and banishes her from the dream. So she realizes that they set her up, and that just she was pissed. She was like, "Oh, screw this shit."
So how did you guys take that whole scene? Some of that was predictable, some of that was surprising, right? Like, oh, there they are laying down in their little sleeping bed. That, of course. What am I talking about? They're in the dream.
As opposed to a different activity in bed.
Yeah. They're in the little dream circle there. I mean, this was after the horrible, shock that Egwene got last week about Lanfear and Rand. And then this week, Rand is kind of like, Lanfear, that wasn't cool. And she's like, come on, seriously? You were surprised? You didn't like, I mean.
Yeah, she even says, I was wondering how long it was going to take before she told you.
Yeah, because Rand is the most stupid person in the entire show, right? He's
That's
so
fair.
powerful and such a dolt.
Yes. 100% yes.
And Lanfear's like, oh, she told you. Oh, and I did like that Rand has drawn a line and Lanfear crossed it. It wasn't always clear. Like even over the last few weeks, where he has said to, like, remember when Lanfear referred to Egwene as like a cow, and he's like, don't call her that. And even as he's like in love with Lanfear, he's always told Lanfear not to mess with Egwene, right? She did anyway. And after last week, it felt like we weren't sure which way he would go. And it was nice to me, I'm critical of Rand, but it was nice to see him kind of do the right thing and be like, oh, Lanfear's crossed the line. You can't do that to Egwene, but also I can clearly see now that she's manipulating me and she's evil. And I'm done.
As soon as he found out that she was the one in her dreams and everything, that's when he was like, shit.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because at its heart, it's like your new girlfriend screwing with your ex-girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, let's be honest here. Rand was playing both girlfriends.
Yes.
He was.
That is also true.
He was, but he drew the line and he cut her off when she crossed that line.
Yeah, she went a little too far.
In a way, and I'm not defending Rand here in any way, shape, or form, but the way it played out was Lanfear was kind of like his drug of choice, but Egwene was the one he wanted to be with, but Lanfear was so seductive and powerful and everything. And he could, he knew he should not be with her, but he just couldn't pull himself away until he found out that she did something to Egwene, and then he was like, that's it, I'm going to rehab, fuck this shit.
Like he had something really good, but he thought there was a sexier thing, and then he lost both.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
Yes. I don't know, but I hope she doesn't just take him back. Like if he,
which I think I was gonna say,
I thought there'd be a lot of groveling.
Yeah, I think Egwene and him not being together is a good thing.
Yes,
I mean, she has outgrown him, right?
Yeah, I still can't wait to see when they eventually flash back to what she saw in the circle. In the ring.
In the arches?
Yeah, the arches. Thank you. The arches.
Yeah.
I still can't wait till they circle back to that because, my prediction earlier was that she betrayed everybody and stuck by Rand.
Yeah.
That's why I think she came out all bloody. Scared.
I kind of assumed she killed Rand instead, but you could be right.
See, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna find out that she killed Elaine and.
Elaine. She killed Elaine.
You mean
Aleda?
No, Elaine. It was Elaine and it was Elaine and Nynaeve that were with her in the vision.
Oh, they were on the 3 horses together.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think she killed them and stuck with Rand.
Yeah, definitely possible.
So quickly going back, Jamie, I really liked your comment that you said like. So Lanfear is like, oh, I love you, Rand. You're the Dragon Reborn. I've loved you for like 1,000 reincarnations, blah, blah, blah. And then instantly she's like, whatever, I'm going to kill you. She's like, right? She's like, like the woman scorned or the woman who gave up or whatever she is.
She did seem to switch pretty quick. And I guess my point is, like, if she actually really loved him, I wouldn't think she would have flip-flopped so quick. I think she's just insane. There's a part of her that is. So
I think she was like, all right, this one isn't working out either. Let's kill him and wait for the next one to be reborn. We'll try again.
Yeah,
because you've done this like 500 times, right? So just wait for the
more
next
than
one.
that.
Yeah.
Although, is it Samael who says to her, which one of the first again says to her, "Oh, so your little dragon didn't work out? Are you done? Are you really gonna?"
It was Robin when she meets with Robin.
That was Robin. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, your little dragon broke your heart again," and
she's like, "I agree that we should work together, but I want you to admit it."
Because Samael was already dead because Mohideen had already killed him.
Yeah, I'm looking for
Robin. She's a loose cannon, right? She like, if I was the rest of the Forsaken, I'd be like, this is the one that needs to be killed. Lanfear is like a loose cannon. She's dangerous. We can't trust her. We can't rely. She's out here making moves that endanger all of us. Like, but she's super powerful. She's number 2, right?
No, actually, according to the list I saw, the most powerful, number 2 is one we haven't seen yet. Robin's number 3, Samael's number 4. Number 2 we haven't seen. Obviously, number 1 was Ishamael.
Who's dead.
She's the most powerful woman, I think. But not the most power, I forget how we haven't seen them.
I feel like part of her power is in her confidence and her anger.
Yeah. Like the list I saw was straight up power. I don't think that's a true telling. Like we said with Mohideen, she might not be powerful, but she's clearly one of the smartest.
It's like your power in the one power, like how strong you can channel.
Yeah.
The list you saw, right?
Yeah.
She's a very powerful channeler.
Right.
So
I think she's very dangerous because she flip flops.
Yeah. Which maybe is why she's able to be, this episode puts her up against Moiraine, finally.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was. Do you want to talk about Elaine?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I forgot about Elaine.
Yeah. I got pictures of that here. I gotta find where the hell she's at. Elaine. No, this guy, I kept thinking it was going to like reveal he was her real father or something. I don't know why I felt like that, but I thought there was
the way they played it. I could understand why you thought that, but they've clearly stated who her father was and when he died early on.
But I get what Jamie was saying. Like it did see. He's like, I made your mother a promise a long time ago. Oh, I can't tell you. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, yeah, I was around. Don't worry about it. They definitely, Jamie, I could see that totally. I thought it for a second also, except I was like, oh, wait, no, her father is they mentioned it, right? Although that could have been a lie. That could have been a lie, what we heard her mother say about her father.
I think I forget the Black Aja that they killed. I think she just hit the point when she was like, well, crap, I forgot her mother's name now.
Her mother is the queen of whoever.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't think of her name. Anyway, her when she called her mother a whore, basically. I think Tom was in town and she was single.
Oh yeah, she was sort of I
think Tom was just one of her many lovers through the years, and that's how. Yeah. Because obviously, Gabriel has not been around as long as he claims to be. And Tom's like, what are you talking about? Who's Gabriel? Like, there was no Gabriel.
That was kind of great, right?
Yeah.
I thought was kind of great.
Yeah, she's definitely going to question that now.
Yeah.
I like the way they played it. Like, we have seen when he comes into the White Tower, everyone that he's around, he, like, glamours them. He channels them. He does whatever. And it took this person who knew her like in the before times. He knew her before, like years ago, to be like, wait, what are you talking about? I mean, I loved that. The way
maybe she'll be able to see through it now that she knows. That would be kind of
maybe
interesting.
That's what I'm thinking. But that scene was really.
That's really interesting, you guys. Like, could the glamour be broken because you know it's a glamour? I'm calling it a glamour, which is a vampire thing, right?
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
We know.
I don't get a word for it.
We know what you mean. I figure. Yeah, the word starts with a C. That they compulsion.
Compulsion. Yes. Is the compulsion broken if you know it's compulsion? Like, would she see him and know?
Yeah, that's. I'm down with that.
I love that, you guys.
That was pretty badass though. He tells her to like run, and she sneaks around behind the black Aja and kills her with her own weapon. That was awesome.
With that crazy like sword that shoots blue light.
I forget what they call it. I couldn't find a picture of it when I was going through. I couldn't slow it down enough to find it, but it's in there somewhere.
I have a recap up, and I might find the name.
It's called the lady.
It's called a blue something, or it's called a I forget what it's called.
Leandrin called it something. I don't know what it was though. She's like, "Would you stop playing with that thing?"
Oh yeah, she's like, "You're gonna hurt yourself or somebody else."
Put it down.
And
I got that. That was as close as I could get to showing her using it.
Oh, that's pretty good. And that woman fails. So that woman fails to wield it. So that woman, she's an Aes Sedai, right? She's one of the Red Aja or the Black Aja who came with Landry, right?
Yeah.
But she's unable to handle that weapon with it or control it, right? She shoots the ceiling. She can't really shoot it. And then as soon as Elaine grabs it, she's like, boop, boop, boop. She's like able to control it in a.
Yeah.
I don't really know why, but we know that different Aes Sedai have different.
Well, I think it's going to turn out that Elaine's pretty powerful. I mean, right now, Elaine hasn't gotten her full training, really. I mean, she went through the arches, but I think that she's going to end up being pretty powerful, too.
I think you're right. She went through the arches and like the same, like they were like, boom, boom, arches, 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 right? Everybody went through the arches real quick.
Yeah.
And then they left and haven't. When you go through the arches, you're still in training. You're still
well. They're supposed to be done, I think, once they go through the arches. But she never got.
They're called accepted. They're not called Aes Sedai yet. They're called accepted.
Oh, they are. Okay, I thought once they.
So she's an accepted, but they're not full Aes Sedai yet, right? All of them, all of them. Egwene, Nynaeve, Elaine. They're called accepted.
They're accepted because they made it through the rings. They're accepted, and now they're further along. Like there's people that go through the rings or the arches and don't come out. Either don't come out or don't come out with their full faculties, and then they're not accepted. They're no longer training or anything.
I feel like it's a little bit like when you become a Catholic priest or a Catholic nun, you take your first vows and then you become like a novice or whatever, but you have a second level of vows that you take before you're a real priest or a nun. And I feel like these two are in that place where they pass the first test, they're accepted, but they still have some more training, or they got their bachelor's degree, but not their master's degree yet.
That's one way to look at it.
And they still have more training. But Elaine, I mean, I thought this scene with that little blue swordy shooty thing, it looked a little bit like a cattle prod, whatever it was, but she controls it so much better than the woman she steals it from. She's pretty powerful. Her mother's Aes Sedai, but I think we've never seen her mother. Like, I think she's more powerful than her mother, right? Her mother's Aes Sedai, right?
I think you're like, because she said something about her being, I don't think her mother's a full Aes Sedai, because I remember them saying the whole point of Elaine coming here was to be the first ruling Aes Sedai.
Yeah, so she couldn't be the full.
Well, then I think maybe
I never thought about it, but she's going to be kind of pissed that that other one took over when she gets her. I can't remember her name. You help me before I can't remember her name all the time.
Her name is Queen Morgeza.
Morgeza.
No, not that.
Morgeza,
I mean the one that took over as Emmeline's seat. I meant that I keep forgetting her name.
Elena.
Yeah, that like, I wonder if Elaine's mother is going to be pissed that she did that, because that was supposed to be like, she was supposed to be, well, at least I kind of assumed that she wanted her daughter to eventually be.
No, she wants her daughter to become an Aes
She wants
Sedai,
her daughter to be
come
queen. I
home,
guess that's true. She can't.
and then come home to be queen.
Okay, that's true.
So
I mean, not for nothing, she might be in on that plan. Morghese might be in on that plan, which is why she let her stay behind.
So Morghese, she definitely trained at the White Tower, right? So she's not a full Aes Sedai, but you know, she has the ring of an accepted. Yeah. She goes to the White Tower and she throws her power around, and then Siuan says to her, "When you're in this building, you will call me mother." And she's like, "Oh, okay, sorry, mother." Right? Like, she's definitely a
she was definitely an accepted
at the tower, if not full Aes Sedai. So yeah, you guys are right. But Elaine, I mean, you guys are right. She's definitely very powerful. I love this scene. I mean, I have enjoyed seeing Elaine be on this adventure with these guys, right? Although by the end of this, like Tom the singer, he's like, you gotta go back to your kingdom. Like, Robin is there. You gotta, like, what kind of queen do you want to be? You can't let him like influence your mother. It's not really clear what Robin wants yet, right? Is that me, or is it still not out there yet what he wants?
It's not really out there. I mean, one thing we can tell so far is he loves being adored.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't know.
By hot women? He just wants hot women to worship him?
Yes.
Who doesn't? Really? Can't blame him. I think you're kind of right. Like, Robin doesn't seem to be. I mean, yeah, he was friends with who's the guy that just was killed? Like, he's in with his little faction of the Forsaken.
What the heck did I click? Sorry, I bumped something. Please ignore
that's
that.
Right.
That was like
well, and that's the thing. Like, we've seen 5 Forsaken, which kind of tells me the other 8 are like, we can't be bothered with this petty bullshit right now. We're enjoying life.
I'm not sure they're all released yet. I think some of them might not be released. That's why we've only seen these few.
That's possible.
I think that's accurate.
We saw Robin.
I thought they all got released.
I don't think they're all released yet. I think a bunch got released. I don't really know. If there's a book reader in the chat, please let us know. But we saw Robin hanging around with Samael, but Robin doesn't seem to have the
No, there are more released, because when Samael, Robin, and Lanfear met in secret, Robin said that, and he named 3 other people. He's like, this one. They're a little insulted that you didn't invite them to the party. And she's like, really? You told them?
If I don't invite them, don't tell them.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's definitely more. That's what I'm saying. Like, we see how Robin is, like, he doesn't really seem to give a shit about anything other than, just hanging out in the throne room that we know about so far. That's what I'm saying. Others might just be like, doing their own thing. Like, yeah, whatever, we'll deal with this. We'll worry about it once the dragon gets closer.
They haven't shown us them, though, if that's the case. Because you're right, they did mention them, but I thought that they hadn't gotten out yet. But you're right, I do, now that you said that, remember them being mentioned before. So that's kind of odd to me, anyway.
Well, as we meet them, I'm sure it'll become more clear. But anyway,
well, we're going by these books that we don't really know when they come out, what's going on, right?
So.
Yeah.
So back in the desert.
Let's move on to the desert. Yeah, because we're getting on an hour.
Meanwhile, in the desert,
Rand is with the IL, being an idiot.
No, I think Rand did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Eventually, yes, but he.
What do you mean eventually? I think this is the best Rand has ever been.
No, it isn't.
Because, well, I mean, for starters, Lanfear didn't retaliate the way they thought she would. Instead, she went and did it better. She went all sneaky and shit.
Oh wait,
and went to what was her name? Belindra, and pulled her into it for, I guess she made an oath with the Dark Ones at one point and tried to get her to kill Lan, which she went against and died horribly, which paid off later for Moraine. But with Rand, I mean, this is what I love and hate about prophecies. Like, you get all these prophecies, and they're like, the Khan will destroy us, and then he will rebuild us. It's like he'll destroy us and save us. And it's like, oh my God, he's gonna decimate and kill all these people. And it turns out,
I love that part. I love that.
I did too. He did destroy them. He destroyed their
resolve,
belief in their history and everything when he told them that they were oath breakers, and and what he saw and everything, and the chief there was like, don't do it, and he's like, no, this is why I'm here. Like, I finally understand.
I mean, I loved it, but I also loved earlier when half of them were against him and half of them were behind him, and he's like, oh, I guess this is what it means. I gotta annihilate half of you for the other half to like come through, right? And that's really what it looked like. And then, he like annihilates their entire, in the end, their entire like story they've been telling themselves about their past and their history. Yeah. Although when he called them oath breakers for a minute there, I was reminded of when Aragorn goes to the ghost people and he's like, oh, you broke your oath breakers. You got to come and fight behind me. Right. Remember that?
I don't know, but what did you think of Egwene's? I don't have a picture of it, but when he said that, though, like her face, like she got a look on it, like, what the hell are you doing, Rand? I loved that when she did that.
Well, they all the only ones that didn't get a funny look on their face were the two wise ones, and then the what's her face, the younger one, the wise one in training, looked over and she's like, "You guys knew this, didn't you?" She was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah, because they know the prophecy.
They were like, they knew exactly what was going on and everything. They were like, "Yep, They're like, this works." They were happy with it, and then Rand made it rain, and I'm like, "Oh, isn't that nice of him? He made it rain in the desert."
Rain in the desert, yeah.
What was really cool though, as they were like, panning over, looking at all our people and all spread out lands and everything. I thought it was really cool that they could see the clouds that he was pulling together from wherever they were. That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, he really I have not been the biggest fan of Rand. I don't think any of the three of us have been. At best he's a flawed hero, right? At worst, he could still be a problem. He could still destroy everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
Absolutely. That's like Moraine said, when they had their little conversation, which I thought was a really great conversation.
That was what I wanted to.
And that was some more growth too. Like Rand realizing, this one wants me to do this one wants me to do that. This one says this one says that. He goes, but everything you've done, even though it all hasn't been good, he's like, you really have been on my side, He's
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was great when he's like, you're here for me if I succeed, and you're also here to stop me if I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his moment really where he chooses her over Lanfear, which it wasn't like, it's always been set up as like Egwene or Lanfear, but also Moiraine or Lanfear, right? And this is when he chooses Moiraine, and I loved it. I also was a little bit like, oh, so you see that she's the person who supported you all this time. Egwene has also, and you cheated on her, but it was great because Rand has chafed against Moiraine for the entire show for 3 seasons, right? I mean, he's like.
I was just going to say, she even says, I'm not going to be here. And he's like, well, I'm not going to be here forever either, but you need to be with me for right now and follow me and be there. And, I trust you is basically what he said.
He's always been a little bit of a he's like, don't tell me what to do. But then he does whatever she says, right?
I know why you told me what to do is kind of what he said. Yeah. So we also have this whole thing with the fake Dragon Reborn. Because I want to show us one picture. It's of this other leader. Look at that costume. Is that not weird? Like it's like almost like an octopus arm or something around her in the armor.
It's pretty awesome. It looks
I don't know. I thought it was cool looking.
It is. It's really
snake.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But we have this guy, which is what caused part of the problem.
He wants to be the leader of all the clans. He's like, you're not the Karakarn.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the Karakan. I got tattoos too, and the whole thing was fake. So yeah.
It was funny. When I saw Lanfear doing a little magic twirly and then they cut away, I said to Artie, I was like, she totally just put dragon tattoos on him.
Yeah, but I was thinking all Rand has to do is do a little magic, and they know that he's the real.
I thought the same thing.
So like, he can't do magic. He can have tattoos, but he can't do magic.
Yeah, this guy's not a he's not a false dragon or a false Karakarn because he can't really.
He's just an idiot.
I feel this guy thinks Rand is fake, and so he's going to stand up and make his claim. This guy never believed that Rand was real. Like, he's not trying to go against Rand, the dragon. He's going against Rand, the faker, right? This guy never thought that Rand was real, and he's like, stop trying to take control of my tribe. I'm the leader of my tribe. I'm the king, whatever, blah, 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 right? He never really thought that Rand was... I mean, he probably never would have challenged him if he knew who he was, right? He thought Rand was just a faker, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think he might have still challenged him. I don't know, but he didn't like he was trying to come in and take it over. You're right. But all the people listened to him once he told them all and did his.
Well, once he started whipping a bunch of magic around.
There's so many freaking effects here. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. And then during this, the whole thing, we have the fight with, which we haven't talked about at all. We have the fight with Lanfear and
that was
Ray.
such a good fight.
Oh,
that was an awesome fight. And
twice I thought she was dead.
I assumed she was going to die.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, were you guys surprised in the end she didn't? I'm assuming that she's still going but
when she got here, I thought she was okay. I was like, Lan hasn't shown up yet. She's not dead yet. And then Lan showed up.
And then it said bones cracking in the caption, so I assumed she broke her neck.
But then when she got stabbed with a sword, I thought she was toast.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
I thought she might be strangled to death. Sorry, I didn't interview, but I thought she might be strangled to death because she looked like she was dying, but then, when Jamie, you can't go back probably, Jamie, to the picture, but she's laying there in the sand, and then in that picture Jamie showed, you can see the magical orb is right there in the sand right in front of her.
That was, it is.
And then in the next frame, which you don't have, she opens her eyes, and you're like, oh, she's dying.
Well, that's because she sees Lan. Lan shows up, and that's when she opens her eyes.
Yeah, Lan shows up. Yeah. And then Lan shows up, and you're like, woo, they're going to win. And then she almost dies again. And when she got stabbed, I thought she was really going to die.
Yeah, I thought she was done.
I mean, they set us up for it.
They're going to pull the sword out.
They set us up for it with all this, like, only one can... We've heard it in other prophecies. Harry Potter, only one can
I was just going to say only one can live while the other survives. Yeah.
Right. And she was so convinced that she has to die for Rand to live.
And she still might, just not today.
Yeah. But she said that it didn't have to be today. It could be a year from now, a day from now.
But is this fulfillment? Maybe she died for a second. Like, she had to die for him to live, but maybe she kind of died. Did she die here? Do you think she died when she was strangled or when she was stabbed?
I don't know, because it's another thing with the prophecy. Like, she
that
saw
also happens
die when she went in that thing. I forget what it's called, but when she saw herself die, like, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with what's her face seeing Matt hang. I mean, she saw herself dead, but there's nothing to say that when she saw herself die, that if she had stayed
she wasn't dead. Yeah, no, you're right.
Back up. So
I mean, also like in Buffy in season 1, if you guys watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, in season 1, Buffy has to die for the master to ascend, and Buffy technically dies for like a moment until Xander does CPR and she comes back, right? Like, maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe, do you think she died and fulfilled it? I don't know.
It's possible. But like Jamie was saying too, because you think you died in a vision doesn't mean you did.
Yes.
And it may be that that was what she needed to see too, in order to sacrifice herself herself type of thing.
It
And I
made
mean,
her, like,
we're still only we're not even halfway through.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
whatever
story.
happened, it gave her cuckoo power in that moment, right? Like she when she took that sword out
Well,
of her
no. Well, you know what gave her power
Lamb.
was Sue-Ann dying.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's right. Because she started like screaming because she was dead,
Oh,
and she's like,
that's
"No,
another
this is
reason
not
why-
going to end this way. Fuck you." It's kind of what she did.
But that's another reason why I thought she was going to die here, because this
she could be
scene
with her.
this
Yeah.
scene was intercut with
It was
Sue-Ann
juxtaposed, yep.
Yep.
being cut down by Elida, and I saw them dying, and they're in love. You know, they're in love, and so and I really thought maybe they would die together and get their happy ending together, right?
Yeah, because they said they'd see each other in the next life. So I really
yeah.
assumed they were going to kill her there.
And that might be the number one reason why I thought Moira was going to die here, because Sue-Ann was going to die, and then
They
all of a
definitely
sudden,
set us up for it.
Sue-Ann's. So this is like Sue-Ann's magic comes to Moiraine, maybe,
I
or
kind of felt that
anger.
way.
I thought it was just kind of her anger, like she was so mad, like you can't have done that. I can't live without her. Like it just gave her like that burst of energy, her love more than the magic. I don't know. That's how I took it anyway.
I agree with that also, Jamie. Like the intense emotion.
Yeah, either one works.
Yeah, that's a better way. Intense emotion.
And she's like, "Oh no, I can't lose anyone else. Lanfear. I'm gonna." So she takes us out, and she ends up like cutting Lanfear's throat, right?
Yeah,
but
I think
Lanfear
Lanfear obviously
Half her
seems
throat.
to be alive. I don't
She
think they
gets
show her
away.
after, do they?
No,
They
she
just
crawls
show her
through a
after,
little
yeah.
portal, right? She gets a
Portal,
little magic opening and crawls out.
Yeah.
She's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
But she's not. Maureen's still hurting, but she's alive. That was
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
picture I had.
Well, and luckily she has a very powerful. Egwene can heal her. The
Yeah.
wise ones can heal her. Like she, I mean, I thought she might die, but Rosamund Pike is an executive producer, and maybe.
Well, to be fair,
Well-
I think some of whether she dies or not is probably connected to whether she dies or not in the book.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
could
they can
change it up
change
a little
when,
bit.
but I mean,
This seems
I
pretty
think if
true
she
to the
dies
book.
in the book, she'll probably eventually. But
So,
All
no,
Whoop.
so earlier today, Karen texted every show I watched, Evil won.
no, I was like,
To
like,
be fair,
he said right before I
last-
watched this, I'm like, well, somebody's gonna die.
last season, the good guys clearly won the battle. So it's
Yeah.
only fair that Evil gets, but I mean, Rand did have that great speech and everything, so they kind of won there, and they did get the upper hand on Fear here. But
and in the
I could
last
definitely-
episode,
but
Karen won the whole fight.
You can see how I feel evil one in this. Yeah, because
Oh no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, look at the tower,
Yeah.
So no, I mean, there's definitely, it's just definitely this season definitely ended on a somber note compared to last season. But that's okay because without Empire Strikes Back, you don't get the Return of the Jedi.
fair.
It's true. All righty. I
Oh,
think
wait.
we should-
So before we move on, I would like to point out that this show is not yet renewed for season 4.
No.
And
The
the
and
amount of money they put in.
wait. In contrast, season 1 didn't even come out when they got renewed for season 2. And season 3 got renewed at the very halfway through season 2. They've been renewing the hell out of this nonstop. And season 4 is not, they're not renewed yet. I'm not saying that I'm worried. I'm not saying that I'm worried about it because I think Amazon has so much money in this.
Yeah.
And it's so beloved. I can't imagine they won't, but
And the ratings are great.
It got renewed crazy fast, and this has not been.
I agree.
The thing is, and this is the problem, in my opinion, because I was telling this, saying to somebody about Yellow Jackets. You're right. They renewed it crazy early before, but it's like the same thing with Last of Us. They renewed it for season 3 before season 2 started, but I feel like them doing that isn't the norm. So just because they didn't do that doesn't mean it's canceled.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think it's canceled.
No, I know.
mean,
I'm just
Amazon has
saying.
too much money into this show, right?
Yeah,
I think
and
it'll come back.
and the
This is
ratings
the
are
best
crazy.
season yet, so it needs to.
This is Amazon's maybe #1 hit, I think, of the entire time I've had Amazon.
Probably.
Listen,
Right?
all right. Let me put it to you this way. Citadel's coming back for a season 2. And you better go watch Honey Bunny because, and I don't remember if you watched Diana, but you got to watch both of those because they're going to incorporate those. Those are getting incorporated into season 2 of Citadel.
Y'all are on your own. I'm not doing that. Sorry. But I mean, this show looks so good. You can see every dollar of the $200-300 million they're spending on this.
I'm not even spending that much.
100 million? They're spending a ton.
No, but I'm saying they're spending some money, but nothing like what they spent on Citadel
Or Lord of the Rings, but
or Lord of the Rings.
there's crazy special effects money in this show.
Yeah.
The scripts are good. The talent is good. This is going to be renewed shortly for season 4.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's no way it doesn't go season 4.
The entire cast has been talking like they're getting ready to start filming, even though they haven't been renewed.
All
right. We're way into our show. Should we jump to the next thing?
I think we should jump to Surreal Estate. I think that sounds like
Surreal Estate. All right. This was called Death Gets a Refi. Death Gets a Refi. Death Takes a Refi, right?
Yeah. Whoops. Okay. I got some screen captures and some promos, so we'll kind of have to.
Death does a refi.
Death does a refi.
There was a lot going on in this episode. There were like 3 or 4 storylines going on. It was kind of a lot.
Whoops. I clicked the wrong thing again. Damn it. Sorry. I'm looking for the other folder. I thought I had it. I've had it. I don't have the other. Hold on. I gotta
It's
get
okay. So this main storyline is that Death is like, oh, Luke, can you help me? I can't get these people to cross over.
Yeah,
and
that's
Luke's
Death.
like, yeah, I'll help you, right? Her name is Madison, but she's actually Death. And she's like, please help me get people to cross over. It was a little weird because that's all Luke does. His whole job is getting people to cross over. And I guess Death had this one person she can't deal with. And then there's the side story, right, that you have up there with Susan and the people at the farm.
Yes.
And then there was a third story, which is about the guy that wanted to be the assistant, and Susan was like helping him. And there was like multiple shit going on in this episode.
There was you mean the other? You mean the one that helped her? You mean?
Yeah, the guy that Luke wouldn't hire, and then Susan wants to hire. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that guy. There's like 3-4 stories going on here.
Yeah. So which one do we want to go with first?
Whatever you like, Jamie. Please pick.
Well, why don't we, since we already started talking about it, let's talk a little bit about this, because I would have said this was originally thought was going to be the A storyline because it was with Luke, but it's kind of not, actually. I feel like Susan's story was the A storyline this week.
I kind of agree. This was a little bit low key, right?
Yeah. But we have, like you said, the Death character, and then we have also this part of the storyline, which is with this young woman who was a kid that he helps get a house, or did help. I think it was supposed to have been in the past that he helped get the house, if I remember.
No, I think only like a week in the past, though. Not.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't during the episode. Like, he'd already gotten the house for her, and she's moving in. And throughout the episode, she's asking him to help different people, to help them cross over. Because there's this guy too, who was supposed to have been from a house he helped before. He wanted
the guy with the pen, right?
Yeah. So that was part of that storyline, but I felt like the main part of it was really with that young woman, because he goes to see her and she's gone, right? I can't remember if he sees her get hurt, or I'm trying to remember exactly what happened.
She's already like he thinks.
Remember, he ran to the hospital. Is like, where is she? Where is she? Talking to her, and she's like, I'm sorry.
And Megan's like, I'm sorry. She's already, yeah. Like, Luke goes to the house. She's, I don't know, she's injured or she's whatever, and then he gets, yeah.
It
wasn't really totally clear, but yeah.
Which we know now Luke can talk. We know for sure now Luke can talk to dead people again. We know, we were questioning that. We know for sure now the answer to that.
It hasn't been clear for a long time, right? And then all of a sudden.
Yes, I think part of it was, my problem, I think, was not remembering whether he could. It wasn't so much it wasn't clear. I couldn't remember whether he permanently lost the ability or not. But he talks to her in this episode. So he definitely can see her and can talk to her.
I mean, he talks to her, but Jamie, is it me, or I was a little surprised that, like, Madison comes to Luke and she's like, oh, I'm Death. And he's like, oh, hey, like there's no surprise or worry or drop. Like he really took meeting Death personified in stride, right?
Well, yeah, but to be fair, he's kind of been around Death his whole life. So that's the way I look at it.
He's been around dead people. He's been around ghosts.
Yes.
He's not been around the person. She's the Grim Reaper. She's Death.
You're right. But I mean, he's been around people that are crossing and passing. And so he's familiar with the people passing. I don't know. That's the way I looked at it.
Like, I thought he was
concept, not as a person, maybe, but yeah, he did take it a little too.
I thought he was not sufficiently surprised. To me, I was like, really? It's Death. But anyway, I was a little like, she comes in, she's like, I need a favor. And he's like, okay, I'll do you a favor. And he does it. And then she's like, oh, I need another favor. Like,
yeah, do you think there's more to it than that? I wasn't sure if they were trying to say that, like, she knew he needed help moving on, like, when that woman died. And it was kind of like, it wasn't just that she needed him the whole time, but also that she was trying to help him. I wasn't entirely sure if that was what they were trying to say, because he helps her get that other guy on. But then it's like, whenever that young woman dies, he like can't really accept it. He's like, no, take somebody else. This isn't fair. Let her live, which he should know better with. And that is where I'm saying with everything he's dealt with.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he was like, no, you can't have her. And, she's like, you can't change it. This is the way it is. So I wondered if she kind of came to get his help for the other guy was sort of a setup because she knew he needed her then. I don't know. Make him understand it a little better and to feel it was okay a little better, which is kind of strange because he lost his father not that long ago. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I was doubly surprised because first of all, that Death can't help people cross. Like, okay, so Luke helps a lot of people cross over and complete their business and move on. But I've always thought that there were maybe people that were like lost in the cracks, or like, I never thought that Death could not get people to cross over. The idea that Death herself is like, oh, they won't leave, can you help me, was a new twist for me.
Yeah, unless it's like maybe just that she can, but then it's more violent and not easy on them. Maybe she didn't.
No, I don't know. I mean, Death. I'm not sure that Death isn't a villain necessarily in this. Death is just the angel of death, right? And it's your time and whatever. But secondly, yes, Jamie, I was also surprised that Luke was like, don't take her. Like, of all the people that Luke has had to cross over, why this one person? He's like, oh, don't take her. She's a good person. Why does she have to die? Like, Luke, are you kidding? Like, we've seen so many people that.
Yeah, I mean, I know she had a young kid and she wasn't that old, but yeah, I didn't quite.
I mean, I don't think she's not the first young mother, right? Like, it was kind of weird that Luke was like, I mean, we've seen him help children cross. We've seen him help other kinds of people cross. People are murdered. People are misunderstood. Like, for him to suddenly be like, why, Madison? Let her live. And Madison's like, whatever, it was her time. She's dead. I can't help you. Sorry. Like, Madison was correct, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what was so special about her. Like, if it had been her, I can't think of her name. If it had been her, I would have understood.
Oh, Megan, if it had been Megan?
Yeah, Megan. If it had been Megan.
Because he's in love with her? I'm so sick of her. Why is she in the show?
I know too. I don't, their relationship is over and like he needs to move on. But aside from that, like if it was her, I would have understood it a little bit better. The other woman, I don't understand the connection he had with her.
Yeah. For Luke,
that was a little confusing for me.
For Luke to have one of his clients, like, young mother, young child, but Luke has crossed a lot of people. And is it maybe something about Luke now that he's not comfortable with the role that he plays? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, so that's the like we said, more the B storyline.
Yeah.
And the other part is that Augie is helping him out right now because he's.
That was like the C or D storyline. Yeah.
Yeah. And that and that he tries to get him to hire that other guy. That was the other part of it.
Which became a bigger deal. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy. He wanted him. Yeah. But then we have the A storyline, what I would consider the A storyline, which is with this guy.
Oh yeah, he's like a banker or something, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna flip to the other folder of
And
things I have here.
he's doing a housing development. He wants to tear down this house and build a new house. Is his deal.
I don't know if she's just helping him or he's working for their company too. I was a little confused by that part. I don't know.
I think she's the real estate broker. She sold him this piece of land, and he says, like, I can't tear it down. And she's like, oh, that's why it's so good that you work with Roman in Ireland, because we can help you work through all these zoning issues. She says that in that scene, which is a little whatever. So that's why she's sucked in. And yeah, you saw that. Yep.
Yeah. So he gets, let's see, he ends up in the barns. He goes into the barn and they attack him, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to pick.
And he's unconscious.
And
then Susan comes in the barn and finds him laying on the ground, right?
Yeah, there's this guy and this woman. These are all
dead. Yep, they're both dead. They're both ghosts.
Yeah. And basically the idea is that they lived on this farm and they were told by the bank that they were like losing the farm. And they got really mad. Oh wait, I do have ones of him in here somewhere. So they attack him because they think he's the banker.
Because they're reenacting. They're reenacting what happened.
Yeah, they're reenacting it probably over and over again. So they knock him out because they think he's the banker. And then she's trying to get away. And the only reason she's able to get away is because that guy, the one that I showed that was in the other folder, that's helping. He made himself worthy of the job by making himself needed.
He's the wannabe assistant. And he's like, it's not clear why he wants this job because he's like a genius computer guy, right?
Yeah, I think he knows it's a good job. And I'm assuming he's like a
it's not a good job.
Everything that's said. At least
that was not a good job. It's a receptionist at a real estate company. It is not a good job. And it is not clear to me why a genius computer guy would want this job unless he knows something.
I don't know. I was under the impression that like maybe he was interested in the weird stuff because he was friends with Augie, so he knew some stuff.
Which means he might know more than, I mean, they present it as a real estate job and that he has to do some real estate. And he says, and he has no mobility, but at the end you see him spinning around in the chair. And he's like, yes, right? He's very excited to get the job. He definitely...
Yeah, I don't think... Am I wrong? I didn't think he wasn't mobile. I thought he was agoraphobic. That was the idea I read.
Yeah, he's agoraphobic.
But he's going to basically take over Phil's job, I think, is the...
Yeah, all right. I have some issues here, but we can go back to the farmy story if you want to finish the farm story first.
Yeah. So she finds the eviction notice on the scarecrow and tells them they're not being evicted, basically. And they're like, okay, so they leave them alone. I mean, that was basically how that went.
Like, this was a little, Jamie, I thought like a lot of times when Susan and Luke help characters cross over, there are people who have been wronged or have problems, or that these two actually were pissed their farm was being foreclosed on, so they murdered a guy, and they were continuing to murder him until Susan like burned the mortgage, and they were like, "Whoop, okay."
There was like a murder. There was also murder-suicide too.
So she lets them go. She saves herself, and I get that, Susan. She sets fire to it and saves herself. But these were not people that.
Yeah, they weren't really people
malevolent. They were malevolent.
Right? Yeah, I agree. And then I also there's also this storyline with her remodeling her house and
with Lomax.
With Lomax helping her. Yeah, I didn't have a picture of Lomax, but yeah, with Lomax helping her. I think Susan made a comment. I don't know what episode it was in, but I think her mother passed because she had said something about she had been remodeling the house with her mother or something. So there's that whole storyline.
She and her mother had always wanted to flip a house. I think that was a thing in the past.
Right. So now she's flipping it with Lomax. But those are kind of all the stories that are going on.
No. There's a little bit of the whole Tyler elephant thing going on.
Oh, yeah. There is the Tyler elephant thing. You're right. And I think, is this the episode where he says, and you mentioned it last week, though, so maybe that was last week, where he said that he was the elephant?
And yes, last week he said he was the elephant. But this week he meets this girl, Seven, shows up, and she calls him Malik, or she calls him by a new name. She calls him by like a demon name, basically, right? She's like, oh, he's like, Seven, why are you here? And she's like, hey, Malik. And he's like, no, my name is Tyler. And she's like, you know, they have a conversation about like, why is he here? Why can't he move on? And he's like, oh, I thought that, you know, right? That's Seven. Her name is Seven.
Yeah. So I forget exactly what the conversation was, but he's like trying to get higher up or something by doing. I was confused.
Well,
I was a little confused
so
by that story.
I think that he's like a kind of a demony kind of a guy, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. His name is Malik. Like Seven is like, so her name is Seven. It's not clear that why they've run into each other or whatever, right? But she shows up. She seems to maybe be his boss, I think, right?
He works with him, yeah.
She calls him Malik, and he's like, oh, like I was trapped. He makes her remark, he says, like, this little brat and his father trapped me in the elephant, and now I've gotten free, right? And he's like, he refers to Tyler as the skin, because he does say, like, if I can take over Luke's skin. Yeah. He has this idea that if he can take over Luke's body, that he could talk to dead people, right?
Yeah, because it had something to do with it sounded like I got out of it that like maybe their time in another person's skin is like limited, but if he could talk to dead people, he could switch bodies all the time. Because I kind of wonder if maybe he has to touch them or something, because the fact that like he was gonna like try to kill Luke and then he changed his mind, I'm assuming he changed his mind because he wants to go into him, like you said, into his body, but I don't know. It wasn't super clear, a lot of that. I'm assuming that.
I mean, that seems to be like an overarching storyline, of course, right? Because we've seen Tyler already for a couple weeks, but this whole I mean, she calls him by this name Malik. I feel like she mentions like 2 or 3 other people, which makes me think they're a bunch of demons or whatever.
Something evil.
And he says, like, oh, Luke can touch through the veil. If I could take his body, I could, like, have a whole other, like, opportunity or whatever he says, right? Yeah. I'm wondering a little bit, like, where they fit in with Death. And Luke now is maybe friends with Death. And does that help him or hurt him with these people who might be coming after him? Not people, Tyler's coming after him, right? But obviously, like, Seven, whoever she is, has no problem with it.
I don't know, but every time you say that, I think of 7 of 9. When you say
I always think of, like, on Seinfeld, George had this idea that he wanted to name his daughter Seven. And everyone's like, are you crazy? He's like, no, Seven, it's a great name. But 7 of 9, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So anyway,
lots of mini stories going on in that episode at any rate.
Hopefully they'll come together in the next few weeks.
Yeah, but it's getting, I mean, like we didn't love the first episode. The second and third one, I think, were pretty good. Although there was, like we said, there was kind of a lot going on in this episode. I don't know that it mattered. I mean, I felt like it moved pretty quick. It's just when we're breaking it down and like looking at them, like, why were there 4 different storylines or whatever? Like, there was a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. But, you know why? Because there's so many characters. There's too many characters, and they just added a new character this week. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad that Augie's back. I mean, that's a positive.
Yeah, but he was barely in it. Like, let's pare it down, get him in it more.
Yeah, or maybe like even do like one episode with more of one. Like they had a lot. They kind of did Luke and Susan. Like they could have had like one episode that was more Susan, one episode that was more Luke.
Yeah,
like, maybe that would work better. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, we got somebody. It seems like to replace Phil, and Augie is back. That's a good thing. But yeah, there was really a lot going on. So, but like I said, I thought it moved pretty fast. I mean, it didn't bother me that there was multiple storylines or anything like that, but yeah, there was a lot going on. All right.
So let's go to the craziest maybe episode of the week. Daredevil. I mean, Daredevil was like, I mean, I was texting you guys during Daredevil, and I was like, I'm so depressed.
You had a lot of feelings.
I had a lot of highs and lows during Daredevil.
So this episode's called Straight to Hell.
AJ, how'd you like this episode?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really, really good. Especially the stuff with Frank. I love the stuff with Frank. I know I probably shouldn't laugh when Frank's on screen, but I can't help myself because it's the best shit.
Violent, yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was such a whirlwind. I mean, there was so much going on at times, and then other times, like, so something I wanted to point out to you guys was it's not explained completely because you guys didn't see the first 3 seasons, but the avocados at law, when they were going through Foggy's old stuff,
oh yeah,
that little plaque, the avocados at law, is funny because back in season 1, when they were trying to decide what to call their law firm, they were drunk, and Foggy was really drunk, and he's like, we should be avocados at law, and Matt was like, avocados, why avocados? And he's like, because it means lawyer in Spanish. And he's like, you mean avocados?
yeah.
But Foggy was so drunk that he was mispronouncing.
Yeah, I should have sort of explained that.
So that's why that little fun thing there. But yeah, I mean, this you could tell that, you know, it was like, you could tell that this wasn't, knowing that we already have a season 2, you could tell that this wasn't going to end.
And only 2. It's over after 2.
Says who?
I know. I didn't do that.
I heard this was 2 and done because it's going to lead into some other new things that are happening. No,
I could be
wrong about that. Sorry.
There's nothing that I've heard about it only being 2, but you knew it wasn't going to end well because you couldn't wrap this storyline up in an hour. So I was wondering what, you know, I had a pretty good feeling where this was going to go with Fisk.
How long was it? Was it only an hour? It felt like 5 hours.
Actually, it might have been a little longer. It might have been like an hour and 10 minutes. It wasn't just a strict hour. I do remember seeing that it looked longer when I started playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, you see Fisk just going full force turning back into Kingpin, basically. I mean, he wears the white suit at the mayor's ball or whatever that thing was, and he doesn't take it off. He continues to wear the white suit, which shows that he's back to just being the Kingpin. He may be the mayor, but he's running things like a mob boss.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
I mean, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite episode of all of them, but I didn't dislike it. Although there was a lot. I know Karen's usually the one that talks about the violence. There was a lot of violence, and it was like dark. Because I was taking the screen capture, I'm like, half of it I didn't even do because I'm like, you can't see this. It's so damn dark. With him and Punisher fighting the people in his apartment. I did like that whole fight though. I think it was done well, other than it was really dark. And I kind of agree with what he said. Like, it was surprising. I think it was Punisher that said, like, he went after Matt, not after Daredevil, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
He outright went after
Fisk
him.
also knows that Matt is Daredevil, so.
Well, yes, but I mean, like, to go after him, like, the other people are going to be like, why did they go after him, you know? But especially when he was already shot, like, he wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just was a little surprised that he went.
Well, like Fisk's, Fisk's, reasoning behind it is the only thing better than a good, a living hero is a dead hero who can't dispute anything that Fisk may say in the future.
Yeah, and I get that, but so I didn't watch the first 3 seasons, and I'm not a student of Marvel, but I've always felt like Kingpin, Fisk had a level of respect for Matt. Like, they had a level of, for him to go after him, not Kingpin, but Matt. Yeah, I felt like it was crossing a line of détente that those two have always had. which
Well,
I don't
think
Well-
he already
I
feels
just-
like he crossed the line when he killed Muse. Not that he really did per se, but he thinks he did. It's to Fisk, he's pissed. When you say so, AJ, I mean that's where he's kind of like all bets are off.
Well, it's Fisk was always looking for the loophole.
He was looking for
Him
a
and
reason,
Matt,
yeah.
he and Matt had an agreement that
Yeah.
Matt would, they'd go their separate ways. Kingpin would go to prison and he'd keep his secret as long as Matt never implicated Vanessa.
right.
That was that's how season 3 ended. Matt agreed not to implicate Vanessa in Kingpin's crimes, and
Which
he
he
would
did.
keep his secret of Daredevil. That was all well and good until what happened was, so this is something that nobody that didn't see season 3 knows about. Season 3, we get that all right, so we get that flashback of Vanessa and Bullseye in the
She's asked, she hires him to kill Hoppy.
yeah, that's when she asked him to kill Foggy.
No, this was in season 3 too, or no?
No, this was just a flashback to explain episode 1. Now,
Yeah.
Poindexter's partner, Nadeem, was a good guy, but he got put under Fisk's thumb also. But he was also working. He was trying to like follow Fisk's orders whilst at the same time trying to work the other side of it. And they at the end, Nadeem gets killed. He got framed for a bunch of stuff that he didn't have anything to do with, so he looked like a bad agent. A bunch of cases that
Oh, so wait, so he
Nadeem-
wasn't originally bad then?
no, Nadeem was a good guy, and in the end, Nadeem was.
Oh, I thought you meant him. Never mind. I thought
no,
you meant
Poindexter. No, Poindexter's always been nuts.
Okay. Never mind.
His partner Nadeem was framed for a bunch of stuff, so a bunch of his cases where he put people away got overturned, including the case against Fisk, which is why Fisk is out and about and not in prison for the rest of his life. And what Vanessa was telling Poindexter was, because of them turning over a bunch of Nadeem's cases, your case is going to get overturned and you're going to get out. So, when you do, can you please kill Foggy for me?
Yeah.
Which he does and gets sent to prison for killing Foggy. But thinks that he's still going to get out because of all this, that, and the other thing else.
Which, to be fair, he did.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh,
So that's
So-
what that was.
this episode, you guys, I loved it and I hated this episode so much. I mean, I know I was texting you guys and you were like, what's wrong with her? I hated this episode because, I mean, I get why it ended this way, but it is the triumph of Kingpin in the way that he runs roughshod over any kind of norms that you would expect of any elected mayor. And by the end, he has like
Everybody.
fully taken control of his assassination force. The police have become his personal whatever. And he declares martial law, which I'm not really sure that the mayor of New York City has that power, but whatever. And he declares martial law over the city. And I just, as I watched this show, I became more and more outraged over the way Kingpin was just like subverting everything and becoming, but I get it, right? It's part of the story, maybe from the comic book. It's part of this being the darkest Marvel show. One of the darkest things. Again, I watched it in the same night that I watched so many horrible things happen in my 4 television shows.
Yeah.
But also there was, so that part was like making me crazy. And then Punisher comes in, who is, I mean, a horrible person, and yet he's the way they make the most violent and angry person be the sort of light of hope by the end of it, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, kind of screwed me up.
So
Yeah,
let
that's fair.
me give you some quick background information. So Frank. So all right, one thing ongoing, and I'm sure you've heard this before and everything, and it's been discussed with the MCU movies and everything. Like, people get annoyed when the MCU movies kill the villain, because a lot of these villains are iconic villains from the comics, and we'd like to see them again. It's an ongoing theme in the Spider-Man comics, actually, and Batman too, where people are like, what, and Punisher's actually said this to Peter Parker. He's been like, kill them, kill the Green Goblin, kill Hobgoblin, kill Dr. Octopus, because you don't kill them, you send them to jail, they get out, and then they kill more people. So whose fault is that they killed more people? Theirs or yours? It's an ongoing debate in
But isn't
comics.
that's Daredevil's entire moral dilemma in this season, is that he doesn't want to, he wants to.
Daredevil, he doesn't kill people. Right? Yeah, exactly. Whereas Frank is of the mindset, no, I'm going to kill them because then they can't hurt anybody else. And Frank goes after some pretty bad people. He's, a lot of the Punisher's run in the beginning, he went after, because of what happened to his family being killed by mob bosses and stuff. He focuses on the mob, and he kills a lot of people in the mob. And it, eventually through the Punisher's run in the comics, it branches into other aspects and everything. But this is right up Frank's alley. He's like, these cops, and that's what drives him nuts. And there's some real world implications here where people started misunderstanding, like that scene where Frank is tied to the chair and they're like, we'd be honored if you join us. And he's like, you don't know me. You don't know my pain. You don't know what I'm about. You think you know it. Frank hates any type of corruption. He's not going to attack a cop if he can help it. He'll beat up a cop if he has to get out of a situation. But he, a good cop, he's going to do everything he can not to hurt them. These guys, cops, he'll kill them. He doesn't care because they're evil, they're bad. They are against everything he stands for, and that them having his symbol on their chest disgusts him because they're coming off as, oh, we get it, you want to fight they're everything he hates about the system. And he, which started happening in the real world, where people started using his symbol as something good, and the comics industry was like, nobody understands what the Punisher stands for anymore, which is why they actually changed his symbol in the comics. But I just thought that was such a great scene when he was like, I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, because you guys are not, you're missing the message, is what he's basically telling them.
I wanted to interject something before we get too far away from the one thing that I was surprised about in this episode was with Sheila. I kind of figured the way they had it, Sheila. I kind of figured the way they set it up. I think I kind of figured when this happened that she was going to tell, because of the way they did it. And they had her standing outside his office, and she told him totally. But I was surprised because I kind of felt like she was the one character who was the morally.
She's been the voice of reason. She's been the good angel on
the morally good character, quote unquote, for the story. And the fact that she is letting him corrupt her, I was just surprised that happened. I did figure at this point that she was going to tell on him, but I was surprised they went that way. But what actually kind of surprised me more, and I wanted to ask your opinion, is later on, whenever they're having the conversation, we have a picture of it here somewhere. Whenever Daniel is telling everybody that they're going to do what he says, I think it was during that scene. Maybe it was during the end scene. I can't remember. I have a picture. No, it must have been
here.
Maybe it was whenever he swished his head. It must have been after, because I have pictures of
it was when she was. You mean when she was standing outside the room?
No, it was during this scene when he was going to record stuff. Because they showed her, and she's just like, this is too much. But I even thought Buck kind of looked like he was not sure that maybe he made the right choice.
I don't know. Buck's evil through and through.
He is, but I don't know. I kind of felt like he was a little.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way at all.
I don't know. I wasn't sure.
Not about him. Sheila, though, I feel like Sheila's terrified for her life. And if she had to throw the commissioner under the bus to get out from under it herself, that she did. That's what she did. She's
Yeah.
terrified. She being on the inner circle, seeing the direction this is going, seeing what the Kingpin is doing. She decided for self-worth. She decided, I'm going to save myself. I'm sorry, but me and my family are more important than you at this point. She's terrified. You can see it in her face.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely terrified. I just thought when she looked at him that he seemed a little like a little unsure to me. But if you say she's evil, you know more than I do because you've seen the other.
No, Buck. I mean, I just everything we've seen with Buck, he's evil.
I just thought that look.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just felt like that one scene whenever she looked at him, and also Daniel.
Oh yeah, Sheila looks. And yet Sheila chose to sell out the commissioner, whose name I forget. And then he's murdered really before her eyes, and she deserved I shouldn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it, but like, what do you think you were doing? Like,
I just thought that both of them looked a little unsure. Like, was this the right move? But if you say he's evil through and through, what do you think about Daniel then? He's gone to that dark side, but I almost thought like they were kind of all sharing like a secret look in this scene. Like, I don't know if he's gone too far. That's how I took it. Just the looks they gave, but
just mopey, right?
I think he's always looks mopey.
Yeah.
No, he's totally on board too.
All right.
That's how I take it, at least.
That's fair. Let's see. So we get, other than the fight scene, we also have when they find the charter thing here. That
reveals that Red Hook is a free port, and you can basically send in or out you want. It's a free port. You can make all the money you want there. No taxes, no customs, no fees, no nothing.
But that's why I don't understand why that was a bad thing for Fisk, because I was a little confused by why that's a bad thing.
It's bad for the city of New York. It's good for Fisk that he can launder money. Like Matt says, you can bring drugs, you can launder money, you can do anything.
So
and there's
why did his wife kill Foggy then, not wanting this to come out? That's what confused me, unless I misunderstood it.
Oh, because if it comes out, everybody in the whole city will like go insane. But if they can keep it quiet, they can
because if it comes out, they can get it rezoned.
Or that too. Okay.
They just want to keep it quiet and like do their thing and make money and not have
they get in trouble for it, but they don't want anybody else to know it.
Yeah.
Right. They don't want because once they control it, if somebody was now that he's already got his hooks in it, if anybody was to find out now, it's gonna be a lot harder to do anything about it because of what they've already done.
I mean, they found a secret back door that no one's known about for 100 years, and they don't want anybody to find out, right? Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, that kind of tied everything together in a way that hasn't made sense yet, why Vanessa is doing that. And it made sense, but it was a small part of Kingpin does so much more in this episode to make him feel like Red Hook money laundering is just a minor part of his horribleness, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say we have the big fight scene with Daredevil and Frank against all the others.
Oh yeah.
Which so much of this was so dark. I don't know how well they came out, but he gets mad because Daredevil again wants to kill people.
You mean Frank?
Frank. Sorry, Frank. I meant Frank.
Yeah.
Wants to kill people, and he's like, no. So they stop.
Okay, but to be fair, Matt killed a lot of people. It's not like Matt didn't kill anyone.
Matt didn't kill anyone. He knocked them out.
Yeah,
Matt knocked people out.
You don't think he didn't kill anyone in that scene at all?
No.
I thought he knocked him out.
He just knocks him out. But I love the one when Matt finally stops it. He's like, "Don't kill him," and he's like, "How about?" And he's like, "Fine. How about this guy?" And he shoots him.
Yeah. Yeah. Before he can tell him no. Yeah.
So I loved. I mean, that scene was amazing. First of all, the whole part where Matt, Matt has to escape the hospital because Buck is showing up trying to kill Matt, right? But he escapes from the hospital and he gets home. Frank shows up they're antagonistic. I mean, they're friends. They're frenemies, right? Because they disagree on violence, on how to use violence.
They don't disagree on violence. It's how far you take that violence.
Yeah. It becomes an incredibly violent scene, one of the most violent scenes I've seen on TV in a while. A lot of gushing blood, a lot of like broken jaws, a lot of this and that. It was crazy, and yet I really enjoyed it. It was really well shot. It was so I have not always thought this show did a great job with fight scenes. This was great. All this was great. Better than most shows. Better. These are some of the best fight scenes I've seen in a long time. I could really see what was happening. Despite this photo, which looks dark, Jamie, it wasn't that dark. You could really see, right?
Yeah, some of it you can. It was hard to get pictures that weren't dark. It's not so much you couldn't see it while you were watching.
But when you watched it, you could really see it, right?
Yeah, you could see it when you watched it. It's just I couldn't get a lot of. It's also fast too, so it's hard to get screenshots. But
I mean,
but
I tend to turn away from very violent, but I thought it was really pretty good. I think you guys. I'm like, I can't wait to see Punisher's show. I love him. He's way less of a whiner than Matt.
Yeah, I hear an ambulance.
Sorry. Okay.
No, I know. I just heard it. So then Karen comes. So she called Frank. That's right. I forgot she called Frank.
Karen. Yeah. She's Mac's best friend, right? I mean, they're BFF, I think.
Yeah, but he's not happy. Frank isn't happy how it went because he wanted to kill everybody. And then they go and they look in the locker and find the charter. We already said all that. So then they grab Frank. These are a little darker.
It's very dark.
But they grab and then and then they take the commissioner was the other thing, that guy.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, you talk about, we already showed where he has Frank.
Oh, Sheila set him up.
Oh, yeah. Totally. But you talk about violence. Like I didn't take. That was as far as I took with pictures because I didn't want to put the fact that he rips his whole face off. I don't even know if you could. I don't know if you could do that. You'd have to be really strong to be able to squish.
You know what the funny thing is? The scene surprised me slightly. Because I wasn't expecting him to like rip his jaw off the way he did. I actually thought he was just gonna smush his head. Because that's something, and I think they might have did that to the audience on purpose because Kingpin smushing people's heads in the comics is common.
Oh, all right. So they're trying to
and it's actually, and I didn't even catch it. I was actually reading something about it because I thought about it. I was like, because the thing is, in the comics, the Kingpin is a big guy. And I mean, Frank even refers to him as he goes, I'll find the Kingpin and shoot him in his fat head. Like the Kingpin has never really been fat. He's a muscle. He's like all muscle.
Oh, yeah. He's super strong.
So, but then D'Onofrio, in between, he lost weight for his own personal health reasons. So which they explained in the show, which it was kind of a throwaway line, but it was like, all right, whatever. They used it as an excuse for him to seem more presentable as mayor, which was fine. But if you notice, and I didn't notice, I didn't really pick up on it, he's eating a lot of eggs and vegetables and stuff. But then as he starts getting more and more, as the show's progressing, he starts eating like that scene where they killed the mafia guy. He's starting to eat more carbs and protein. His meals are getting, more pasta and sausage and stuff like that. He's bulking back up. And I didn't catch that. It was a review that I read.
Yeah, they said something like it was tighter again or something. They made a comment.
Yeah, so that was like, it was a subtle little thing about where his, what he was planning. He's bulking back up, which is why he was strong enough, once again, to smush his head.
Yeah, I don't know that he's physically changed, though. I think he's still thinner, but they're trying to.
No. D'Onofrio himself physically didn't bulk back up, but they just wanted to give the impression of Kingpin bulking back up.
No, I agree, because they even said something about his suit was tighter, but I mean, it's more important the actor's healthy. So, but yeah, he squished his head. It was gross. And then we get the flashback with Matt. I got a picture of him as a little kid when he's talking to Karen. And then he goes to the bar, not the diner, the bar. It's kind of.
I got so excited for the scene and then so disappointed.
Why?
Because when he said he needed an army, and so something I did not catch that I read later.
I also skipped this. We skipped this though.
Fuck her.
Oh yeah.
The fact that Heather's now
She's the worst.
She is the worst. She is the worst, right? Yeah.
Yes.
What do you want? Commissioner of Mental Health? He made her.
Yeah. Yeah. You can watch her now. I think is more.
No, she's totally on board with him.
I don't think she knows yet.
She doesn't understand who he is, but she's totally.
I don't think she believed the things Matt's told her.
No, she didn't. Not at all.
Yeah.
But that scene when Matt says to Karen, "We need an army." The music that plays right after, there is a interlude. It's a new mix, but in that mix is the Spider-Man theme, which I did not catch, which I thought was awesome when I read that was in there. They
can't even put Spider-Man in this though, can they? Or do they
have
depends.
It depends. Well, it's TV, so I think they could, because Marvel has the TV rights to Spider-Man, but not the movie rights. Sony has those rights, but they still work together on the Spider-Man movies. And then, of course, Sony has the rights to do whatever they want to, aside from Spider-Man. But anyway, aside from that, when they open the doors to the bar, I was really hoping that we were going to see the rest of the Defenders from the Netflix shows, which would be Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. I was really hoping that they were going to be in the bar. But I have hope that he's going to need more than a couple cops and ex-cops.
Yeah.
That he has there in the bar with him. He's going to need some more vigilantes, and they already have them, so they just got to put them in the show now. And Kristen Ritter, and they're shooting. They've been shooting season 2 of Daredevil, and Kristen Ritter has been spotted in and around the area they've been shooting. So hopefully we get the band back together. And speaking of them shooting, they're actually almost done shooting from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
So we're always bitching about streaming services. Well, guess what? It can be done, because they've already announced that Daredevil season 2 will premiere in March of 26.
Huh. So yeah, that's cool. About a year.
See, it can be done.
Yep. They just have to film it ahead and then to announce it. Yeah, but yeah, they can keep on schedule. And then I guess the last thing is that he has all these people, including Punisher, in his basement or whatever.
Well, they're vigilantes.
Yeah.
Including Frank.
And they're like,
you see swordsmen also.
Yeah. And then they're
like, I don't think they're all vigilantes though. I have a feeling some of them might be other like powerful people in the city that are opposing him. So he just said fuck it and locked them up, who didn't agree to go with him. Because there's definitely people like we see in the last episode where he's like got stuff on people and coercing them into backing his play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was with this cop? We've seen him twice. He isn't down with doing what they're doing, even though he's with them. I think he's probably gonna like flip or something at some point, because they showed him twice.
It's possible. I didn't really pay attention to that guy, honestly.
Yeah, well, no, they showed him twice. Once when he killed the other guy that was with him, killed the guy who broke into the store or whatever. And then after they showed him here, I forget exactly what happened in the scene, but they showed him. And then we get to see Bullseye again.
Oh, yeah.
Before we see Josie's, is a good shot of Josie.
I mean, someone who I hated so much in the beginning, and I still might hate, but maybe I don't know.
We'll have to see. And then we get that shot of Daredevil.
Bullseye will be in season 2.
Oh,
so we'll
I'm
get
sure. Yeah. And then we get the bonus scene with Frank and
that guy was so stupid.
Well,
I was laughing. I'm like, I was actually yelling at the guy. I'm like, what do you? I was like, I want Frank to escape, obviously, but I'm like, is this guy really? I'm like, this guy is stupid. You don't shake the hand of the Punisher. Like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, did not go so well for him. But anyway, so he'll be able to get out.
But yeah, he had to escape for his movie special.
Yeah, true. Alrighty. Well, I think.
And there was one other Easter egg that actually connects to the movie side of things. Right before the power went out, on one of the billboards in Manhattan, there was an ad for Pim Van Dyne Foundation.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Which is Hope runs the foundation.
Yeah.
The Wasp, in case you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't.
So.
Alrighty.
Anything else, ladies?
I don't think there's anything else about that.
No, I mean, I'm just shocked at myself how much I can't wait to see where this show goes in the future. Something that I complained every week that it was boring for like at least 6 weeks, right? Now I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. What's happening?
Yeah, you want to know what happens now? Yeah, it's gotten better. It has gotten better. I want to see more.
Oh, and something completely separate. Karen, you're going to love this. I read that they are making a Godzilla -1 Part 2. Karen.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I was waiting for you to drop it on me. Go ahead.
Oh, did you not hear me?
No, go ahead. I didn't hear you.
Oh,
I must have dropped out.
They're making a Godzilla -1 Part 2.
No, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know. That movie was like a perfect movie. Do I want a part 2?
Yeah, I know. I kind of felt the same. At first, I was like, ooh, and then I was like, ooh. It was so good. But it's, it's the direct, original team doing it again. So
I don't think it needs. I don't know. Does it need?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway. All right, everybody.
All right. Well, please come back and join us at 8:00 p.m.
tomorrow.
Thursday.
Thursday. Well, technically
tomorrow you can come
after midnight. Technically tomorrow. Thursday. Night.
I won't be here.
Karen won't be here, unfortunately, but we have to talk about that crazy episode of Last of Us. And for people who haven't seen it yet, we won't spoil anything, but crazy episode. That's at 8. And then at 11, Scarlett and I will be talking about the second episode of Towards Zero. And we'll be having a watch party beforehand in Discord. I'll put the link in the chat. So if you haven't joined Discord, please do so. Because you can get schedule and all that good stuff. I'm trying to type as I talk. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the video. Like I've said before, if you see a video in your feed, at least click on it, watch it for 30 seconds, click like. It helps the algorithm, and it's very much appreciated if you do. And you can check out all our interviews under the video tab and our live streams under the live tab. And of course, we have, live streams, recent ones for From and Yellow Jacket interviews and Severance. And then we have a lot of other interviews over on the video tab for everything else. Still more stuff coming for Leverage and now Murder Bot. That's the next thing that there's going to be interviews for. And and then Scarlett and I are going to be starting some other shows soon. I believe we're going to be covering the Librarians and some other stuff. I don't know. We're discussing, but all that schedule will come out on, of course, on Discord. But yeah, first join us on Thursday. We want to talk about The Last of Us. I know what people were asking us tonight in the chat. Like, that's not till Thursday. But yeah,
give people time to watch it and digest it and think about it. And wow.
Yeah, and if you guys would like to maybe watch it earlier on Thursday before the live stream in Discord, let me know. We can do that. We do have a watch party on Sunday night for Last of Us when it drops at 9 p.m. So make sure you join us then as well. Actually, it usually drops a couple minutes ahead, so we start right at 9 o'clock. It's not like other shows like Yellow Jackets that never showed up for a while. It shows up at 9. So, but yeah, we had a good fun discussion about that this past Sunday. So, but yeah,
Okay.
All right, guys. Well,
Good night, you guys.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yeah.
See you all Thursday.
Yep. Thanks for coming. See you Thursday. Bye bye.